This is the plaintiff, Brian Williams. He says he and the defendant were involved in a relationship, lived together until she kicked him out, and now he's owed money and she won't pay. She has a car he paid for, his hair clippers, a phone, and he's suing this shady lady right here and now for every penny of the $5,000 he's owed. This is the defendant, Gloria. She says the plaintiff moved into her house, and it soon became evident the guy had a cleanliness issue. He brought bed bugs into her house, didn't seem to care when she pointed them out, and she soon realized this relationship and living arrangement wasn't going to work out. Bottom line, the car is hers. She also doesn't have his gosh darn hair clipper and owes the man nothing. She's accused of manhandling a lover.
All parties, please raise your right hand. Be seated, come to order, please. Litigants have been sworn, Your Honor.
Thank you, Douglas. Brian Williams, you are suing Gloria, you've asked us not to mention your last name, for $5,000 that you say Gloria owes you for various items, including pain and suffering, after the two of you parted ways. Tell me, Mr. Williams, what happened here?
Yes, well, we met on chat line in April 2015. Talked on the phone for a while, talked about her situation where she was staying at a home for battered women, and spoke about her son who needed something to do, so I...
How old's her son?
9 or 10 now.
How old's your son?
He's 10.
Okay, go on.
And I brought them a game for him with 100 games on, and I brought her an MP3 player. And, it's the first time we, met, and, she had trust issues because of the situation with her boyfriend. And, we started to talk and, came over a couple times to see them. And we, decided, to try having a relationship, but we were holding back on the sex thing because of her situation, getting choked and whatnot by her boyfriend. I talked to her about... I saw a car that I was going to either buy for my son if he didn't find one because he lived in Florida, or for myself, and we went and...
Okay, I'm sorry. Okay, you're wearing sunglasses because you are legally blind.
Legally blind, yes.
Okay, how are you going to get a car for yourself?
Have a licensed driver. Because it's my license.
It's for you to own, but somebody else to drive.
Yes, that's correct. Yes.
Okay. Would you say that the two of you were dating?
We discussed it, but we never got it basically that far.
Okay.
It was more or less like a tenant, living at a house, basically.
Tenant? Wait, you were living at her house?
Yes.
When did that happen?
That wasn't until June. I'm sorry, July.
July. And you met online when?
In end of May, beginning of April.
So were you two kind of talking as consenting adults who might sometime date or something? Well,
it was a thought.
A thought?
That was a thought.
Okay, so you moved in together?
Yes.
Oh, okay. Because the rest of us think that that's taking it really fast. All right, so you go to look at this car with her.
Yes.
And what happens?
The price was $750 or best offer, and we got the car for $550.
Who paid for it?
I did.
You paid the $550?
Yes, I took the money out of my pocket and gave it to
Do you
her.
have a receipt for the $550?
No, that would be on
the car was put in her name, correct?
Yes, because I did not know at the time if I could put a car in my name being a non-driver.
So go on.
Okay, we purchased the car. We told the lady we would be back later that afternoon to pick it up, and came back, got the car, put it in the backyard at her place, and then the week later on... You
didn't even have a key, correct?
No, I did not have a key.
So it's in her name, in her backyard, and she's the only one with keys?
Yes. We got the car. She decided that only she should have the key because it's in her license.
Okay.
Then the week later, when we was going to go and have the... do the registration and all that, because she had back taxes and a fine on her license that I also paid for, and the taxes had to be paid in cash. So
How much did you pay?
I paid $200, but she took $400 out of my account. I'm just
Who
finding
did?
out, Gloria, because I let her, use my card, and there's a.
You gave her
there
your
was a
password and
machine.
gave her your card.
I gave her my card in the basement or the first floor of the tax place where the machine was. Yes.
So you moved in?
Yes, I
in July.
moved in.
Okay,
yes.
and how long were you living there before she asked you to move out?
Well, it was actually pretty much done in July, but she basically.
Couple weeks. All right, so now tell me what ends up happening. Why is it that things don't work out between you folks?
She had her mysterious ways. I found out that she was still making phone calls on the chat line and just some of the things that she would do. Yeah.
Okay. All right, you tell me, what was going on here between you two?
I met Brian over the internet, true indeed. At that time, I was in a safe house, yes. And I had issues. Can I put it? Domestic violence issues.
I'm kind of taken by the fact that you're in a safe house and you're trolling on a chat. On a chat line to try to meet people. That seems so quick. Like maybe you should regroup and kind of figure out your situation.
The thing was, it wasn't a relationship thing. It was just communication.
I know, but and then you move them into your house 2 months later. What do you know about it?
Here's the deal with that. Mr. Williams had told me that people were taking advantage of him. I'm a certified nursing assistant. And so I'm saying, well, if they're robbing you, you have an empty room. You're welcome to stay. We were just friends. It wasn't a dating thing. And so he mentioned about being choked, but he had a prostate thing and he has erectile dysfunction, so it was no sex. We never kissed, none of that.
Okay.
Never.
I got it.
Okay. And so, back to the story. Mr. Williams was not who I thought he was. Although he portrayed to be blind, when he broke in through my back door.
Wait, when did he break in through your back door?
He broke into my back door. That was in August.
This was after you asked him to leave?
Yes, this was the day. Yes, I left. There was stuff on the back porch the night before.
Okay, so when you left, was he still in the apartment?
When I left, he was not there.
Okay, so he had already left.
Correct.
And then he was supposed to come back to get his stuff that was out on the porch.
When he left, I made sure that when he left, he took everything with him.
But there was still stuff on the porch.
When I came, yes. So when I came back from my daughter's house a couple hours later, I found that my door was open. My back door, you could see outside. And I go to my back door. He's in the room playing Tetris.
How is he playing if he's blind?
Exactly. Mr. Williams has walked 2 blocks around my community.
Do you have partial vision?
Yes, he does.
Do. Enough to play Tetris?
Yes, he does.
She says you broke into the apartment.
Well,
yes, he did.
Just
a minute.
She wasn't there, did not see me.
Well, she says you're not supposed to be in the apartment and the back door was broken and you were in there playing Tetris. Did you break in or didn't you?
Excuse me?
I have a simple question.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Okay, did you break in or didn't you?
No, I did not.
Okay, did you force the door open?
No.
Was the door open?
Yes.
Now, let me just ask you, what was the problem? He was in there for a couple weeks and already
He brought bed bugs to my house. He came to my house when they moved in. When he came up the stairs, he put a bag on my lap. Okay, and I did not know at that time that this man had mad bed bugs. And that's one of the reasons. So when my kids brought the stuff in, my daughter said, "Ma, he got bed bugs." He made them pull.
Is that your daughter?
Yes.
I'm sorry, come on up. How did you even see the bed bugs?
Okay.
I mean, you can see them if you're really looking for them.
I saw the bed bugs. We went to go pick him up. I was in the back seat with his items. We were getting on the ramp, going onto the highway. The bed bug was in the bag. I looked over, and I freaked out. I don't like bugs. I don't like bed bugs. It came out the bag. I thought it was going to jump on me. I had him pull over the car, and I got out. We killed it. I was scared from there on out. So when we got to the house, I told her about it.
He never said a word. He infested my house. And then there was always this smell. And he had some issues.
Okay.
And I keep talking to him about these bugs, but he never cared. She killed a bug on his arm that was crawling. He never flinched.
Okay.
It's like he didn't care.
Okay. Tell me about this car. He says he's the one who paid for the car.
Your Honor, I have the bill of sale.
Yeah, but that's not my question. Did he hand you the money to pay for the car?
I had my own money.
Did he hand you the money to pay for this car?
No.
So according to you, this is your car?
Yes, ma'am.
Well, we have a form here from there showing that he's joint signed on.
Let me see that.
The registration.
Registration.
Yes.
Well, why would he be on the registration if it's completely your car?
We were living together at that time.
Please, you hadn't even kissed.
No,
That's
we
not a
haven't
reason for him
kissed.
to be on there. There's got to be another reason. It's got to be his funds or his name wouldn't have been on there at all. If it's totally your funds and he's just some guy who may or may not live there and didn't live there very long and you don't have a relationship with him, why would his name be on anything at all unless he was involved with the funds?
Miss Judge Julian, when we got together, this was when we were in the beginning process. He was always there helping.
Even less reason for there to be his name on anything if you paid for it. See, the problem is you committed yourself right now. You just said, I paid for it. You didn't say he gave me a gift. You said, I paid for it.
I paid for
so
it.
now, if you paid for it, why on earth would you put just some stranger who you just met his name on it if you paid for it entirely? You just want to keep the car. It's in your name.
Welcome back to the People's Court. Harvey Levin here. So what is the minimum time for two people to start dating and then move in together?
I say 6 months. 6 months is about a good time. You really get to know someone, spend every day with them.
Okay, well, we're going to start there. Is 6 months really enough time to get to know who the person is?
Probably not. Probably need a little bit longer.
20 years?
But that's a little too long.
How long?
Maybe a year. I'd say a year.
Okay, we all agree with that? Yeah. A year-ish. Okay, going inside the courtroom.
What are you doing meeting a lady online and letting her put the car in her name? Why don't you just wait and don't buy a car till you figure it out? Why don't you rely on your sister or your brother, who apparently are there for you when you need them, and ask them about that and have them research it? Why are you doing this?
I'm the type of person that just love to help people. So I try to help myself and help her at the same time.
You see the lady next to you?
Excuse me?
That lady next to you, right? That's your sister, right?
Yes.
Do you try to help her?
Yes.
Okay. Well, she doesn't want to be here today. She doesn't want to have to clean up over bad decisions that you make,
Yes.
right?
Yes, that's
right.
correct.
So when you're thinking about who you feel sorry for, I need you to feel sorry for her. Okay?
Yes.
During the time of June, July, and August, was she driving you around in that car? Were you guys driving the car?
Yes, a couple times.
Okay.
Yes.
Well, who was driving the car the rest of those 3 months? Because it was 3 months.
She was. She's had the car.
Right, but then what was the point of you having a car? Don't you go places? What was the point of buying a car?
Yes, I do.
Okay,
Well,
so when you would go places, in
Yes.
what car would you go? That car?
Yes.
Yeah, okay. I am not going to order her to pay for the 3 months insurance because you got use of the car during those 3 months. I believe you when you say that you paid for the car. I do not believe her. There is no reason to add your name on a car unless you had to do with those funds. I am ordering her, since she has possession of the car, to pay you the $550 plus the $336.75 in registration fees. As far as the items that you say that you left there, you're just not in a position to be able to prove that those things were there. You don't have receipts for any of them. It's your word against hers, and you can't just say it and then throw a number. It's not how it works. You're suing for $3,364.12 of your lawsuit is pain and suffering.
Yes.
As in what?
Don't know what's happened with the car. If my name is on it, I don't know if anything's bad has come of it. I was illegally evicted because I paid to stay there the entire month.
All right. We need to stop, okay? Here's what's going to happen. Stop. I believe he was renting. Because even you slipped and said he was renting, okay? And you can't throw the guy out, you can't change the locks, and you can't throw him out. Stop. In the middle of a month. You can't. So that additional 10 days counts for something. Jeez. Between that and the car, I am ordering you to pay the plaintiff. I'm ruling in favor of the plaintiff, and I'm ordering you to pay the plaintiff $1,020.08. That is my judgment. You do not get pain and suffering for making bad decisions. Good luck, folks.
Thank you.
So in a rather frustrating case for the judge, the plaintiff prevails for $1,020. Gloria, I sense this is a rather emotional issue for you.
Mm-hmm.
I thought you were about to break down in tears.
Well, the bed bugs, you know what I mean? I lost everything I had for the bed bugs from him. Trusting him to move in. Don't trust some of the handicaps. That's my bottom line.
I think you've learned a hard lesson.
I sure did. Nobody else will ever live in my house. I don't care if they got one eye hanging out or whatever. Never. Never.
Okay. Thank you so much.
You're much welcome.
Okay, you have to sign a few documents. Now here comes Brian Williams and his sister. Brian, come over here. Let me just say, how do you feel about the outcome of the case, the judge's decision?
It's okay. I, wish it had came out better because since August, been in a lot of suffering and pain with not knowing where the car is or what it's doing.
I think you've learned a tough lesson, huh?
Yes, I have. Yes,
Yeah.
It is this woman. Before I even moved in, she's telling. I'm talking to her on the phone. She's telling me she has.
We can't do the whole case again here
yes,
now.
Yes, okay.
Just thank you very much.
Yes,
Okay,
all right.
I know you've learned
something.
Sure.
I feel like this: if someone has bed bugs before they move in with me,
Yeah.
you're not coming in my house.
Yeah. Okay. Well,
Right.
I don't know about that or not. All right. Thank you very much. Harvey?
Doug, I don't know how else to say it. We've done the show for a long, long time. If you think you can buy somebody's love, you are sadly mistaken. Period.
This is the plaintiff, Brock. He says the defendant, his ex, owes him $5,000 because the slouch refuses to pay off a credit card he opened. Of course, now that they've broken up, the defendant's trying to shirk his responsibilities. His credit is all messed up, and he's here seeking every penny of what he's owed to the tune of $5,000. This is the defendant, Dylan. He says he and the plaintiff dated for about 4 years, even lived together for a while. He paid off the entire balance of the credit card, but now that he broke up with the guy, he's harassing him. The louse even called his boss and filled his head with all kinds of lies. Bottom line, he had a restraining order out against the plaintiff. He's being harassed by this lawsuit and owes the jealous guy nothing but a stern goodbye. He's accused of making a former lover mad.
All parties, please use your right hand. Be seated. Come to order, please. Litigants have been sworn, Your Honor.
Thank you, Douglas. Okay, you both asked to be referred to only by your first names. Brock, you are suing your former partner, Dylan, for $5,000 in credit card statements, plus your lost wages and, I guess, punitive damages for ruining your credit, according to you. What's going on?
So we started dating in 2012, and when we were together, we both came out to our families. His mom and dad cut him off and took his car, took his computer, and so we moved to Florida to my family's place. In the fall, we started taking classes, so he needed a computer. We went to the Apple store, and his card was denied, so he asked me, he's like, I'll pay it off in 3 months. We won't use it for anything else. Like, it's just, I need this computer for school. I was like, all right, that's fine. We've been together, we lived together, we had pets together.
And how much did the computer cost?
About $2,300.
What was this, an actual credit card they had you apply for at Apple?
Yeah, I don't
And it was only under his name?
Correct.
And how much were the monthly payments?
$75.
And were you paying it?
Correct.
How long were you two together after the purchase of the computer?
About 2 years, almost.
And there were no problems with the payments until then?
So what happened is he personally said, I'll pay it off to you within 3 months. The original purchase.
Do you have any proof of that?
I do not. I thought the card was closed, so I didn't know anything about it.
You didn't check to see if, were the statements, were you getting statements?
I wasn't, and that's the thing.
And how does somebody else close your card?
Because he had access to the account, because we were living together.
Him access to the account. So he had the passcode and whatever else and could get on it through the internet.
Yeah, correct.
Okay, so go on.
In September, I found out that there was a balance. I got a letter from the credit card company saying that there was $6,721.70 on that card that I thought was gone. After we had purchased the computer, I cut up the card because I make $18,000 a year. I don't want to.
What happened? What happened?
So when this card was opened, the account later came in, they send you a letter in the mail saying, here's your further information on your account, set up an account so you can pay the monthly bill. He did that for me, and I attached my bank account information to it so I could log in and pay the $75 a month. When that was finished, I told him that it was paid in full. I never closed the account.
When was it that you told him, I'm done paying?
Probably January or February of 2014.
Okay, and when was the card opened?
August of 2013. So I got the letter from the card, and I called.
And this is when?
In September of 2015. So we had broken up in August of 2014. So a little bit over a year. I thought the card was closed. I got a letter saying that there was a balance on it. So I called, found out. I started going through it. There was charges for lipazine, for IKEA. He cashed out Venmo, so directly cashed out about $2,000 at the end of it.
So wait. Slow down.
Sorry.
Venmo is an app that allows, if I owe him $20, I can pay him $20 on Venmo.
And so he hooked up my credit card
so
to
cool.
that.
I have 3 teenagers. I know that. All right.
What happened is
Did you take that money on Venmo? Did you wipe his account?
I never had the card physically.
I don't care if you had the card physically. Did you access to that card, charge to that card $500, $1,500 to take in the space of 3 days, like how much? $2,500. Did you do that?
Nope, I didn't.
Who else? Because there's only the two of you who know the card.
I don't know. I mean, he's the one who says that he thinks that the card was closed. I told him that I was done paying the computer. At that point, it wasn't my responsibility.
Well, it is irresponsible of you not to make your own phone call and make sure the card's closed. But I gotta tell you, he's got a few things that he's discovered that make it look a little suspicious for you. Go ahead. What did you find out?
After we broke up, literally the month or a couple months after we broke up and we were done, you can see on the bills he had paid the minimum every month. And then a couple months later, he started buying things additionally on top of that. And so I started going through it. And the only reason that I think it was him is because after we broke up, he moved to Virginia, and the billing address got changed to his mom's billing address in Virginia. And then
okay, stop.
9 months later.
How does that happen if it's not you using the card?
It was always to my mom's address.
That's false. I have it on here.
Show me the bills. Show me the bills. Because if I'm going to see now that it went from one address to your mom's address after you broke up, we're going to have a problem. Because that looks really, really damning for you.
Okay, so when I signed up in the account to put my banking number, my name, everything that I had access to in the account, I did not have an address when we broke up. I moved back home.
Sweetheart, you had already stopped paying it. According to your own testimony, you finished paying the entire computer January of 2014. You don't need to do anything.
Then
unless you're going to keep using the card.
But
you understand, right?
I understand.
Okay. You know I didn't just fall off a turnip truck yesterday.
I know. I understand.
Can I say one more thing?
Yeah!
May I, please?
Yeah,
okay, so I contacted him originally on September 29th when I got the letter, and so I'd give him a couple weeks and he said he would pay it off. And then October 14th, I contacted him saying that if he didn't pay it, I'd have to press charges. I'd have to go through the police. Like, this is a lot of money. And then that's the same day that he filed for that restraining order saying that I was stalking him. And he also falsely accused me of beating him, and we were in the courtroom in Florida. He had stated that I physically assaulted him, and I asked in front of the judge, when did I physically assault him? And he said, oh, I misunderstood. I thought it meant threatened. And so I actually had been working in Virginia at the time.
Wait. He tells you that he's going to go to court and sue you for the money that you clearly stole from him. And you run off and file a restraining order against him?
That's not what happened.
It's the same day.
No.
The same day?
Okay, so the 3 weeks.
Is it the same day?
I don't know. The 3 weeks that led up to that, I had phone calls to my workplace. I had his friends calling me, text messaging me, threatening me. No, I mean, I could. I just didn't think that it.
You'd have to prove the things you're saying?
Well, I did not think that pertained to this case.
Well, yeah, it does, because he's suing you for it, because he says that you did it as a tactic, because he told you that he was going to collect on the money that you stole and call the police. Next thing you know, you run out and get a restraining order against him the same day. I have to tell you, that also gives me pause.
I did it that same day because I was done with getting calls at work and text messages from him and his friends threatening me, saying that I was taking steroids and I'm a horrible person, and calling me names and telling me a bunch of derogatory terms.
Why don't you just pay the guy the money that you owed him at that point instead of doing this?
Because I didn't use his card. I didn't use his card.
Welcome back to the People's Court. Harvey Levin here. So, when two people break up, is it common that one person tries to screw the other person out of money?
It's quite common. I've been married 3 times. I'm on my 3rd rodeo, and I feel like each time I've been married, I have to divide my assets. And so some of it is community property kind of ordeal, but even if you're not married, it's the same. If you give the girl a ring.
I feel like this is I feel like I'm supposed to say, what are you thinking?
No, but if you give the
Going inside the courtroom.
Tell me something. Why would you change the address and things continue to be charged, but you don't know that of course you know, because every month the bills are going to your address. Okay? That's why there's an address. It's going to your address, and whether it's paperless or not, it's now going to you. Which the only reason for someone to he's not going to send it to where you are. There's absolutely no. You killed yourself when you testified that you finished paying for it in January. You broke up in August, and the following year you are changing the address on it because you got no business tinkering with anything that has to do there. There's only one reason to do that, and it's that you are a horrible person. And you're trying to steal some money. That's the only reason to do it. So, yeah, how does it entitle you to a restraining order to turn around? That's the thing that's killing me, is that I'm looking at the restraining order. Here are the reasons for applying for the restraining order. Okay, I received messages at 2 a.m. from a third-party app service from Brock saying, knock, knock, who's there? Go F yourself. What does that even mean? October 5th, 2 or 3 times a day, someone would hang up when I picked up.
It came from his work number.
And October 3rd, it came from his work number. You say it came from his work number on that one. The third one came from his work. When you realized this, you called, you spoke to him, you told him to stop, and he laughed and said, I'm going to throw you in jail or worse, and hung up.
Correct.
Did you say that?
Yeah, it's a court system. If I charge a criminal charge, it might happen.
What could be worse than jail? Okay, so that's the reason the restraining order got granted, is because you said that statement.
I suppose, yeah.
So you cannot sue for the restraining order having happened and your expenses associated with it because he didn't lie he really actually said all these incredibly not restraining order worthy things and was able to get a restraining order. What are the lessons we've learned?
Don't trust people with your personal information.
Well, yeah. Okay. It's not that you can't trust people. It's that you should live your life by the credo, trust but verify. You see? I trust my children, but I GPS them. Okay? I have their iPhone account numbers. I put my password in there. So I have a loving, trusting relationship, but I have a natural, healthy skepticism. Now, granted, I've been doing this a long, long time, but you need to learn a lesson from this, and it's what's yours is yours, and what's his is his. And never the two shall meet unless and until you're not going to go to court and cry about it. If you're so close with someone where it's not a problem, then that's fine. Mm-hmm. But if you feel that you can't let it ride, whatever, then don't. Share an account with somebody. You understand what I'm trying to say?
I do.
You have any proof of the trips?
I do not, unfortunately.
Oh, yeah. Well, how do you pull that figure out of where?
The number?
The 1250 that you're asking me to award you comes from where?
I was saying $250 a day, and I missed 5 days of work, and then plus with the gas from Florida to Virginia, and then driving for 12 hours there and back.
Do you have proof that you make $250 a day?
No, I don't.
What do you do?
Back then, I was running a paint store, but I also refinished furniture, so that's why I was going up to Virginia. It was a job through my parents, and so I was up there for a week just to do that, and I had taken off work. And then it was served for me the day before I was leaving, so I had to go in the middle of that trip and then go back and finish it. And in my opinion, it seemed very unprofessional to have to do that to a client as well.
Yep. I'm awarding you the $2,722 that you're out and ordering him to pay that. And you know what? I am going to order him to pay your time away from work because I do think it was vindictive. And if I think it was vindictive and done to posture after having done something so vile as what he did, which I know he did, because there is no reason for a year later for the address to be changed so that he can let them know where he's living. There's no reason to do that other than for you not to know that he's taking money, okay? And it turns out Venmo returned the money. They didn't make him, I don't even know. So there's actually more money that he owes you. You know what? That's going to you, the guy who had to chase him for all these years. $3,972, verdict for the plaintiff.
So the plaintiff is awarded $3,900. That's less than the $5,000 he was seeking, but I'm sure he's happy with that. Dylan, this is not a good day for you.
At the end of the day, I'm glad it's done, and I hope that this can provide closure.
Well, I'm sure you're glad it's done, but I'm just saying in court, this wasn't a good day for you. It didn't look good at all.
I understand that, but I said what I said.
Who was using the card?
I don't know.
Who put all that money on?
I honestly don't know.
You don't have a
wasn't
clue.
me. No.
It wasn't you.
No.
Well, you're paying it anyway.
Yep.
Okay. Thank you very much.
Thanks.
You must leave. The door is that way.
Thank you.
Now here comes Brock, the plaintiff. I guess you feel pretty good at this point, don't you?
A lot better now.
Yeah.
For sure.
I mean, this is really strange. Who did use the card? He had to be him, huh?
I couldn't see anyone else that could, honestly.
Yeah. Okay. Well, listen, congratulations. Sorry you had to go through everything, but the judge found in your behalf, and good for you.
Thank you very much.
All righty, thank you. Good luck. Take care. Harvey, very interesting case. I think everybody learned something here. What do you think?
Well, Doug, I mean, here's what I think, that when you break up with somebody, even if it seems like it's on good terms, you got to cancel or tear up all of these credit cards and other cards that the other person might have access to.
This is the plaintiff, Lauren Curry. She says she and the defendant dated and moved in together, and let's just say things didn't work out too well. 2 months later, he moved out, broke the lease, and left her high and dry. She was stressed out, to say the least, had a panic attack of sorts, and was now faced with all of the rent on her own. The defendant shouldn't be allowed to run away from his responsibilities the way he did, and she's here suing him for the $4,219 she's owed. This is the defendant, Andrew Dadian. He says the plaintiff tricked him into believing she was pregnant in some sort of attempt to get him to go back with her. As far as him leaving, he paid the rent for a few months, and their agreement was he would do that till she found another roommate. Problem is, she never even tried finding a new roommate because her plan was to woo him back. He doesn't feel he owes her a thing because she never made the effort to find a new roommate, and he's done with her for good. He's accused of taking off on a lover.
All parties, please raise your right hand. Be seated. Come to order, please. Litigants have been sworn in.
Thank you, Douglas. Lauren Curry?
Yes.
You are suing Andrew Dadian?
Yeah.
Okay. For $4,219 that you say he owes you in medical bills and rent. Tell me what happened.
So we started dating.
When did you start dating?
We started dating May of 2015.
Okay.
For a few months.
How did you meet?
At my place of employment.
And what do you do?
I'm a paralegal and a custodian of records.
And what about you?
I'm a process server.
Okay. So go ahead.
So we spent a lot of time together, and he thought it would be a good idea if I moved in with him and his mother, which I did. For a
Why
month.
was it? Where had you been living before that?
I lived in a house with seven other people, and it was in a very small room.
Okay.
So I would be moving into his home with his mother.
Okay.
So it was much more spacious in comparison. So I moved in with them for about a month and a half, but it was uncomfortable for me. I didn't have privacy, things like that, and I didn't get along with his mother very well.
Okay.
So I told him, it was August, I believe, end of August, I would leave and go back to where I was prior to. But he thought it would be a good idea if we got a place together instead of me moving back where I was.
So you tell him you're going to move back where you were, and then he says, let's get an apartment together.
Right.
And you agree, and you get an apartment together.
Exactly.
You find an apartment, you get it together, and you both sign the lease?
Yes.
All right, and then what happens? You move in together what day?
We moved in the end of August.
Okay.
He allowed us to, but our lease agreement didn't start until September 1st.
September 1. All right, so, and it's for a year?
Yes.
And what happens?
So he was there for 2 months, so September and October of 2015, and then the beginning of November, he left.
Okay, did he break up with you?
Yes, we broke up.
Did he tell you, well, who broke up with who?
He broke up with me.
Did he tell you why?
He told me that he was depressed. He said that he wanted to move back home because he missed the comforts of home, and I guess his relationship with his mother, I guess.
All right, mama's boy, why did you break up? Well, tell me what. She's describing you as someone who missed his mother too much and wanted to move back. What's the deal?
I also had a cat. I missed my cat too, but
I thought
we moved out.
I'm sorry, go ahead.
She's saying that
Why did you guys break up? That's all I'm asking.
Why did we break up? I wasn't happy living with her.
Okay, well, that's what I want to hear, because I think she needs to hear it too. So why were you not happy living with her?
I I just woke up every day with anxiety, living with her.
Did you feel like you had made the wrong decision?
Yes, definitely.
Because you moved in with somebody and that's rather serious?
Mm-hmm.
Right. How long had you been dating before you decided to move in with each other?
Like 3 months.
20 minutes, 30 minutes, how long?
About 4 months.
4 months.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Mm-hmm. One thing
that's a lot longer than a lot of people in front of me, but that's not long enough
Right.
to decide you want to move in with somebody because of exactly this. So he breaks up, he moves out. How did it go? Tell me what happens then.
So he moves out the beginning of November, and that month the rent was already paid.
Okay.
I tried to discuss with him exactly what was going to happen now that we broke up and he was moving back home with his mother. I said, "Are you going to continue paying? I mean, what do you want to do?" And so we agreed that I would find a replacement tenant to take over his portion in our lease agreement. So I submitted ads on Craigslist, roommates.com. So I used online sites to...
Do you have those ads?
Yes,
Okay.
I do.
May I see them?
Yes.
So he pays November.
Right,
And
that's
then
correct.
he continues to pay the rent for how long?
Until February of 2016.
So he pays November, December, January, and does he pay February?
He pays only $500 for...
And his share is how much?
$575.
You posted an ad on Craigslist, printed it out. How many people answered?
About 20 or so people.
You couldn't find a satisfactory person in all of that?
Not that meet the requirements of management.
Says who? You got something from management saying that?
No.
You never even submitted anybody to management?
I did not submit that. They had to submit the application themselves. And I said, I would contact the individual and I said, did you submit the rental application? And then they said no. But I did get that far. I had people come to the apartment, they looked at it, I gave them the rental application, I told them what they had to do. They had to submit that in addition to the
Okay, so
credit
let
check.
me talk to you. You recognize that there's two different contracts going on when two people agree to live together, whether they're roommates or lovers.
Mm-hmm.
There's one contract that the two of you have with the management, owners, landlords, and there's the other verbal contract that the two of you have with each other not to leave each other high and dry. By the same token, you're well aware of this because I read your complaint, okay? Because you work with lawyers and because you're a paralegal, your side also has an obligation to mitigate their damages. That is why I'm asking you all these questions about what you tried to do because you're in LA. I mean, it's not like there's not people looking for a place to live. So tell me about what efforts you made to help her mitigate her damages.
I have plenty of listings and replies that we got, and we would send her these people, but she didn't want anything that we gave her.
What do you mean she didn't want?
She wouldn't accept them, or she wouldn't respond to us about them either.
Okay, and why do you think that is? You think that's because she liked living alone in a nice place, or do you think that's because she wanted to hurt you because she was mad at you? What do you think?
She said she doesn't trust us, but I definitely believe she just wanted to live alone.
Okay. And do you not trust that she was making efforts?
Absolutely not.
Why not? Talk to me and explain to me why it is that you think.
Well, based on the fact that she lived there the entire rest of the lease for 8 months and never found anyone.
How'd the breakup go?
Not very well.
Explain.
We broke up over the phone while she was at work, I think.
What are you, 4? Honest to God, you're living with somebody you can't break up face to face? Come on. Man up a little. Seriously, I'm serious. I'm serious.
I know.
This is like a very unappealing quality in you.
I know.
Okay,
and I've
seriously.
definitely gotten over it. A lot of people told me I just need to man up.
Yeah.
And
I mean, you don't have to stay. Listen, you're entitled to be happy.
I know.
It's fine.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, because it's not like you left and then didn't pay the rent for a few months. You did that. That part. Well, did you pay the rent or did your mommy pay the rent?
I paid the rent.
Did you?
But she wrote the checks for me, but I gave them.
But you gave your mother the money.
Yes.
Oh, I'm glad to hear that. All right. So, what I would like to know though is when you say it didn't go well, how?
After that, we tried to be friends. Okay. It wasn't working out. Being friends, not good for me. She texted me every morning. She would ask me things like, do you know anyone that is like you that can date, that would want to date me? And so I told her I needed space. The very day after that, she checks herself into an emergency room.
Why did you check yourself into the emergency room?
I did.
And in fact, you're suing for medical bills. Why did you check yourself into the emergency room?
Because I felt hopeless at the time. I was in a very dark place because I had like 10 more months to pay of rent by myself. That's my thinking, because when we discussed the rent portion of it, he didn't really have any solutions for us.
Did you ever talk to your landlord and say, "Look, I need to be let out of this. This is what happened. Can you try to re-rent it, and I'll stay here until you can, so you don't lose money?" Did that discussion like that ever take place?
With the landlord, no, I did not make that discussion.
But you know that happens every day, right? People have those discussions every day. Some landlords are nice, some landlords don't. Some landlords, if they've got 2 or 3 months, are able to rent it, so they don't care.
Okay.
Right. Okay, so go on.
So
You were in a dark place over rent, or you were in a dark place over the breakup?
It was a mixture of things, because I would have never moved into that apartment with him because I wanted to go back to the house with the 7 other people. So I felt betrayed, yes, of course. I mean, and the breakup obviously did hurt, but also I was very stressed out because I was already financially constrained also, and he knew of my situation. So I was faced with a lot. So during that particular moment in time, I wanted to harm myself, and I called a suicide hotline, and they said, if you feel this way and you continue to feel this way, you should go to the emergency room.
Did you ever call your mom? You didn't want to worry her?
I'm embarrassed. I'm a very strong person.
Right.
So I rely on myself. So it was very difficult for me to just call my mom and burden her, because she works hard herself.
Right.
So
you checked yourself in?
I checked myself in.
How long were you in the hospital?
So from there, I was examined by a doctor, and he wanted to see whether or not I should be admitted for the 72-hour hold.
But they didn't do that?
They did do that.
They did do that?
Yes.
So you were admitted for 72 hours?
Yes, at a different location from that particular hospital.
And they prescribed antidepressants for you?
Yes, that's correct.
Did you call him from the hospital?
I informed him, yes, that I was at the hospital.
And what did you say to him was the reason you were in the hospital?
I told him I'm feeling very overwhelmed. I don't know. I feel like I'm a danger to myself. I need help. I need support. So mentally. So I decided to.
According to you, what did she say when she called you to the hospital?
She let me know that she was there by sending me a text message of her wrist showing that and saying that she was in there. But at the other hospital.
Did you actually cut your wrist?
I didn't cut my wrist.
No, it was like a band.
The wristband. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Oh. Okay, go ahead.
At the actual hospital, she didn't say anything like that. We just had like talk like we were friends. Like, how are you doing? What are you doing?
Did she tell you she was pregnant?
She told me that after she came back from that hospital.
What did she say?
She said, "Andrew, I'm pregnant. I believe I'm pregnant." But she had already said that she scheduled an appointment for an abortion. And at that time, I believed her.
Do you think she made it up?
Absolutely.
Why?
Why? To try to get me back. To try to keep me around.
Welcome back to the People's Court. Harvey Levin here. So, they moved in after dating for 4 months. Is that too soon?
No.
Really? What? 3 months?
If it's the right person.
How do you know it's the right person? I can't believe I'm doing Dr. Phil now.
When you know, you know.
Like a week?
No.
I mean, wow.
A week's too soon.
No. 4 months.
4 months. It depends on how old they are. People move faster when they're older.
Why? Because they don't have any time left?
They're out of time.
What do you say?
I'd say 6 months to a year is a good time.
That sounds a little more reasonable. Going inside the courtroom.
Ms. Curry, I'm going to ask the question that anybody who is watching this right now wants to ask. Do you own a mirror?
Yes, I do.
You are a beautiful, beautiful, smart, and assertive woman. And be there no mistake, the toughest of us have a weak moment. Okay, I do not judge you for that. But you can mope for a little bit, and then you got to kind of move on, right?
True.
You really have to, because we're not getting it. You know, we're not getting how someone with a great job, and we're just wondering what. You have a lawsuit against him for essentially breaking your heart. That's the medical bills. I mean, you can try to drag it into, oh, I freaked out over rent and that's why, but it's really for breaking your heart. And you have to know as a paralegal that we don't do that. We don't allow that. You can't go around, so that's not a cause of action. That's just tough breaks. And then that's what life is about. A lot of tough breaks and then some good ones. A lot of tough breaks and then some good ones. This is part of getting where you're going. How old are you?
I'm 28.
28. Come on up, Mom. When did you find out what had happened?
I believe Andrew had texted me.
And told you what?
That she was placed on a 72-hour hold.
Okay. So that's how you found out. So did you go visit her?
Absolutely.
All right. And when you talked to her, did you...
I was really surprised because Lauren is extremely strong. But clearly, with all the breakup that I found out later, I really did not know anything about it until I arrived at the hospital, and then she was able to fill me in.
How are you doing now?
Better, much better.
Okay. Let's talk about the rent, and let's talk about mitigation of damages. Okay. I have to tell you that it was a sufficient amount of time for you to at some point mitigate your damages for him or them to pay your rent for the number of months that they did. No, we're done. I do this every day. Okay, every day I have people in front of me do it, and that side doesn't pay boo. And then I make them pay boo. I make them pay a few months because it takes a while to get a roommate. And I am totally mindful of the fact that it was a one-bedroom. I'm totally because you were putting on the internet that it was to live in a living room, and you were getting 20 responses. Somebody there could have worked. But you know what? You didn't do it all, which people do, and I consider it part of mitigating your damages. You didn't even go to your landlord and say, listen, here's my situation. I got to get out of it. Can you try to find somebody else and I'll move out whenever you tell me to move out? None of that happens. There's nothing here from the landlord. You know what? November, December, January, February is enough. In fact, November, December, January is enough. I usually give a person 3 months. So that $500 you got in February was totally a freebie for you. Okay? So I'm ruling in this case in favor of the defendant. I wish you all the best of luck. Keep a close eye on her. Sometimes they need more mothering, they're always our children, aren't they? Good luck, folks.
Well, the defendant prevails in this lawsuit. Lauren Curry, the plaintiff's coming out of the courtroom right now. You know, the judge gave you some really interesting advice, and a little lecture here and there. How do you respond to what she said?
No, I value everything that the judge said, and she's absolutely right. I'm definitely going to learn from this and not to make the same mistake twice. So it was a learning experience.
I want to ask you, have you learned something about your daughter? Can you be more help to her, do you think, if she'll come to you?
Well, if she'll come to me, I'm there for her, support her.
I think she needs it.
Absolutely.
Okay. Good luck to the two of you. All right? We'll get the papers. Don't worry about it. Just leave them there for now. All right. Thank you very much. Mr. Didion's coming out of the courtroom. You know, the judge gave you some good advice, too. She was giving out good advice all the time here.
Yeah, absolutely.
You going to grow up a little bit?
I already have.
You have?
Yeah.
All right. Do you feel sorry for her?
Absolutely. That's why I paid like 3 or 4 months after.
No, good
I
for
felt
you.
really bad. No.
Okay. Well, congratulations. All right. Thank you very much.
All right.
And that does it for this case. Boy, interesting case, Harvey. What do you think?
You know, look, when you're in a contract and somebody causes you damage, you have a responsibility to still try and minimize your damage. You have to take reasonable steps to do that. In this case, she just didn't.
This is the plaintiff, Deborah. She says she and the defendant were in a relationship for 5 years and she loaned him money, paid for the movies they saw, dinners, hotels, you name it. A few months ago, she discovered he was sleeping with his landlady, so she confronted him. They had sex and then he told her he was moving on. The guy makes her sick. He knows he owes her big time and she's suing him for $1,188, the money she's owed. This is the defendant, Mario McQueen. He says he has a new woman in his life who, unlike the plaintiff, is ambitious. The plaintiff didn't want things to end with him, is mad he's moved on, and is just creating this drama because she's a typical woman scorned. He's accused of letting a lady friend down.
All parties, please raise your right hands.
Welcome back to the People's Court. Next case on the docket, the plaintiff and the defendant were an item. That is, until he started sleeping with the landlady. The defendant says he has a new woman, a new life, and she's just bitter. It's the case of, wow, I have a friendly landlady.
Thank you, Douglas.
You're welcome.
Deborah, you've asked us not to mention your last name. You are suing Mario McQueen for $1,188 that you say he owes you in different monies that you've loaned to him over the course of how many years?
5 years since I knew the defendant.
Okay.
5 years.
What happened?
Okay, I met him in 2007 at the dentist, and we've had a relationship during the 5 years. So
What kind of relationship?
We had a intimate relationship.
But were you his girlfriend?
Yes, at sometimes. Sometimes I was his girlfriend, and sometimes, like one weekend I was with him, and if I would text him the next day, he would say he don't want to be in no relationship, thanks for everything. He don't want to be in no...
Did he ever say he did want to be in a relationship?
Yes, Mom, he told me. He said I was his girlfriend.
Okay.
Sometimes I was his woman.
Okay.
And sometimes I was his wife. That's
Wife?
what
No.
yes.
You'd know if you were his wife because
Yes,
you'd get married.
I know, that's what he said when he's in a good mood.
So, did he ever take you out?
He took me out, but with my expense, because I work.
So he would only go out with you if you paid?
Well, most of the 5 years relationship, I pays for the movies. I pays for the hotel. I pays to go out to have dinner. He just started working.
In 5 years, this is when he just started working?
When I met him in 2007, he was living in a shelter, a drug shelter.
And he was just irresistible.
He's battling drugs.
Okay, so he's battling drugs, living in a shelter. You met him and you said, I want that one, ladies, back off.
No, Your Honor.
I know. You understand I'm being sarcastic, right? Okay.
I know.
But
I'm trying to make, he said that I'm scorned. I'm not scorned.
But let's not talk about the end. Let's talk about the beginning. So now you're in this relationship with him and you're paying for everything. Does he pay for anything?
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay.
He paid for 3 nights at the hotel. I paid for most of the hotel.
But why is there a hotel involved?
We have to go to a hotel because I don't have an apartment. I live with my mother. Oh. And he lived in a shelter with drug addicts.
And so tell me about these loans. When do you loan him what amount of money?
When I met the defendant, I wasn't working. I was going through a hard time with relationship with men. Anyway, we have a relationship. The thing is, he never abused me physical. He never hit me. He never put his hand on me.
He's not supposed to.
No, I know, but what I'm saying, most of my relationship, the men, they abuse me from my country. I'm from Belize.
Okay.
So he knew it. He don't abuse me
physically, but you feel he abused
but he does it mentally because he would tell me nice things. And then next day, I'm this,
I'm what? What does I'm this mean?
He said that I like sex, but it's not that, Joanna.
It's okay.
He's abusive with his words, his mouth.
Okay. All right. Tell me about the loans, please.
Every time I would get paid, he would call me. At the time he wasn't working. He would say, Debbie, I need to pay bills. And me, I'm a diabetic. If I take my medication at night, I cannot go out. And I explained to him, I took my insulin, I can't move. He said, still, come, send the money to the Western Union. So anyway, because he know that I love him, that's why he...
What do you love about him?
He's charming,
I can't wait.
He have a way with women.
Okay, hold on, because I can't wait. What's going on?
I met her. We had a little intimate relationship. Befriended her through the years. We both gave each other. It wasn't about her giving me only. I supported her, brought her gifts. She helped me out.
Was she your girlfriend?
She was a friend of mine.
Was she your girlfriend?
At one point, yeah. I was trying to see how we would do being together.
Uh-huh.
But at the end of this relationship, I didn't see that her ambitions wasn't about moving forward. She kept complaining about guys bothering her at work, sexually or whatever, and I got tired of hearing that, So for me, I'm like, I wanted somebody that's going to help support me.
Help support you?
Yeah.
Financially?
Not financially. I
Because
mean,
that's what she's complaining about, that she did all the paying for all the stuff and that you didn't, and that they were loans
No,
that
I was
you kept
working
hitting her
also.
up with to pay your bills and that you haven't repaid.
no,
That's
I
her
was
loss.
working also. I gave her money as well as she gave me.
Did she make you any loans or these were gifts?
She gave me gifts.
Okay. She says you're a gigolo.
I'm not a gigolo. I help her too as well as she helped me. How am I a gigolo?
Well, I'll give you an example. According to her, well, let's talk about how it ends. Tell me how it ends.
So she's been giving him this stuff over 5 years. Money, movie theater, money, all this stuff. Can she now sue him for the money?
No.
Why?
Definitely not. Because they were gifts. Most likely it's because he was what she says allegedly he was doing.
Does it make any sense? I mean, she's not asking for the money while they're together.
No, if it was a gift, she should have got it in writing.
And not waited 5 years.
Not at all.
Fair enough. Going inside the courtroom.
How it ends, because I told him, Mr. McQueen, if you can buy me a Metro card, a $29 Metro card. He said that I'm killing him. So I said, look, I used to help you, now I'm not working. Anyway, I went to pick up the Metro card at his apartment. So I asked him if I can go. He came out of the gate and gave me the Metro card. So I asked him if I can go inside. Anyway, after that, we had sex. And right after, he said, I have good news and bad news. I've been hearing this for 5 years, Your Honor. The good news is we can be friends. The bad news is he's moving on. He said, I don't need any woman. I can buy sex. Come to find out, he's sleeping with the landlady.
Okay, do you want to
My
respond?
landlord?
Do you want to respond to that?
That's crazy.
Okay.
That is sick. My landlord is older than... No, I'm not sleeping with my landlord.
Okay, what is she thinking about? And why
I
are
don't know
you
what
having
she-
sex with her and then dumping her 15 seconds later?
I told her before I didn't want to be bothered. I was trying to move on.
You told her
I
before?
offered her to give her the Metro card out the door. She came inside.
She kind of forced herself on you?
Well, naturally it's going to happen.
Well, not naturally. You could have like greater honor than
I've been
that.
trying to move on for a long time.
Well, why don't you just not crush
She's
her?
never...
I know, but listen to me. It's obvious from me listening to her for the few minutes of this lawsuit that she has issues, okay? She has serious self-esteem issues. So why can't you just be a man and move on and tell her you can't come in, here's your Metro card, it's over? Why do you also have to have sex with her? Well, naturally, because she's willing. Why? Does it ever occur to you not to think about you?
I've done that. That's why I moved on.
Well, you didn't do that
the
this
first
day.
time. Well, I didn't do it.
That's right.
I fell short. Yeah.
Yeah, you did.
Temptation. I fell short.
All right, Deborah, let's talk. Okay. You tell me that you acknowledge you've had kind of a bad history with men. How old are you?
I'm 46.
Okay. So you've spent the last 20-something years with a bad history with men, right?
Yeah, that's why I came here.
I don't think it improved with him.
He abused me mentally.
Okay, let me explain something to you. People can only hurt you if you let them. Someone might be able to hurt you once, then you just have to go to the police and get them behind bars. But for someone to repeatedly hurt you, it's because you are allowing it to happen. And at some point, you need to stop being the victim and you need to assert yourself, which means that out of desperation, you don't continue to put yourself in a position like this. You cannot continue to put yourself in these positions and then complain, oh, but they're abusing me. No, you are just a woman who attempts to buy, you're one of a million women who attempt to buy the love of a man who otherwise they can't get unless they take him out, unless they pay for him. Now, it's fine if you want to do that, and then you know what you're doing, and you know what you're buying, and then you don't cry about it in a court of law later. But you are asking me to turn around and look at 5 years and say all those things were loans when he denies the existence of the loans. Do you have a single promissory note? Do you have a single text saying I owe you money? Do you have an email saying I owe you money?
No, I deleted.
In 5 years, nothing.
Yeah,
That's it. No, we're done. Okay, my verdict in this case is for the defendant because you have no proof.
I don't want him, Your Honor. I don't want him.
So the plaintiff learns that loans don't become gifts when a relationship breaks up. You understand the verdict?
She didn't want me to say what I wanted to say. I don't want the defendant. All I wanted is my money that I loaned him. He borrowed that money from me and he didn't want to pay. I don't want him.
Not like loan, no?
Right.
To prove it.
No, but the thing
Can
is...
you put him behind you, move on, have a
Please.
fresh start?
I don't want him.
All right, right around the corner here.
Thank you.
And the documents are waiting. All right, thank you.
Thank you.
All right, step in here. And what's your feeling on the outcome of this case and the facts of this case?
Well, I feel as though it's a thin line between love and hate, and you can't buy love. And I'm sorry that it turned out that way. And
what about your role in what she's going through here?
I feel for her. I've been there too, you know. See, sometimes you
said
put
you fell
yourself-
short.
Put your heart out there, and you don't get what you expect.
Well, you said you fell short. You kind of played into her weakness.
Yeah, at that point I did, because we had been been together for a while.
You regret that?
Yeah, I've tried.
Next time?
Next time I won't do it.
Harvey?
You know, for most of this stuff, it's not a loan. I mean, these are all gifts that go back and forth in a relationship. But if there is a really big ticket item, very expensive, that you do think the other person should be responsible for financially, get that in writing.
This is the plaintiff, Raul Lopez. He says the defendant, his former girlfriend, stole his car, is hiding it and refusing to give it back to him or pay him what it's worth. The woman's a thief. He now has to take cabs everywhere, is handicapped, and can't be chasing this woman down any longer. So he's suing her here and now for the $5,000 he's owed. This is the defendant, Jessica Melendi. She says the plaintiff didn't want the car anymore, so she offered to take it off his hands for him. Unfortunately, their relationship soured a few weeks later, and for him to turn around now and sue her is pathetic, simply put. He's nothing more than a penniless loser with nothing better to do than harass her. She is accused of stealing from a former lover. The defendant has filed a countersuit for $4,299.03 for all the money she's paid during their relationship.
All parties, please use your right hands. Be seated. Come to order, please. Litigants have been sworn, Your Honor.
Thank you, Douglas. Okay. Raul Lopez, you are suing your former girlfriend, Jessica Melendi, for $5,000 in money that you put into a car that she has taken, and you have a counterclaim against him for $4,299.03 in money that you fronted him for numerous things during your relationship. All right, what's going on?
How you doing, Your Honor?
Hello.
In June of 2014, I had just came home from being incarcerated.
What were you incarcerated for?
For drugs. I met Jessica and I told her my situation. You know, I just came out of jail. She was working as a dental assistant, and I told her, you know, my situation of me being disabled, that before I was in jail that I had a car. I had a few objects, but I needed help. Before I got incarcerated, my car ended up getting tickets, and the car was under my name.
Did you pay the tickets or you didn't pay?
I didn't know I had the tickets until I came out.
How do you not know? There's $1,500 in tickets, right?
No, because the car was parked when I went to jail. It accumulated.
Oh.
So,
All right. So now the car gets moved to Florida.
I go to Florida. I bring the car to
That
Florida.
way there's no boot and no tow and whatever else.
No,
The car gets moved to
I
Florida.
brought the car to Florida before I went to jail.
All right. So now the car's in Florida.
Yeah.
You have this new girlfriend. So you two decide that you're going to go together to Florida to pick up the car.
Yes.
All right. So you go down to Florida and you pay for the airline tickets.
Yeah.
Okay. How come you pay for the airline ticket?
Well, he asked if he can also go because he wants to see his parents. Because I haven't seen my parents either for a while. It's like something fun for me.
All right, so when you go down there, there's some expenses having to do with the car. You end up buying 4 new tires.
Yes.
Okay, why are you paying for everything?
Because I understand that I get to keep the car.
Well, but when he says, I need 4 new tires on my car, you don't realize that you're not going to get to keep the car?
Well, he didn't say it was his car.
What did he say to you?
Registration, the car already, before we even got to Florida, everything was registered under my name. The registration and
but
insurance.
the title of the car is under whose name?
Both our names.
So he added you to the car?
Right.
He did not just give it to you?
Right. His mother told him, advised him not to.
Well, I'd advise my son not to, too. So why did you add her name to the title?
Because this was a situation. I didn't know I could register a car if I had parking tickets.
You thought you couldn't register the car
with parking
without
tickets.
paying for the tickets. So you were looking for somebody else to register the car in their name, right? And then as it turns out, you had a bunch of tickets, correct?
Yes.
How many tickets did you have?
Like $1,300 worth of tickets.
$1,900.
So when you say, I didn't realize you could register a car, you think that means I didn't realize you could get away with registering a car with $1,300 with it, but you didn't really get away with it because what ended up happening?
They had a boot under her name.
Exactly.
Yeah, you
They
did.
put a
Pay me
boot-
now or pay me
Yeah,
later, pal.
listen.
But you're gonna pay me.
Your Honor,
That's what happened.
Your Honor, listen.
So what ends up happening is the car did it get towed?
No.
Okay, so it got booted, and the only way to get the boot off is to pay
Was
the
the
tickets.
$1,900
But now
of tickets.
it's her $1,900 worth of tickets instead of your $1,500 worth of tickets. Now it kind of seems like you should have just paid your $15.
No, this was
so
a situation.
who ends up paying all those tickets?
My father did.
Okay, her tickets.
Her tickets.
Not your tickets.
I didn't know he was going to help me out.
You didn't know he was going to help you out. Your father tells you he's going to pay her tickets, right? What you mean is, I didn't know I had $1,500 or $1,900.
I knew what I had. As soon as we come back
Can't
from Florida.
you just look it up online whether you have tickets?
I don't
or
know.
not?
See, I'm computer illiterate. You know what I mean?
Computer illiterate?
I'm computer illiterate when it comes down to
Well,
that.
you need to get on that.
You know, and I'm also, I'm not used to having one hand, and I'm dealing with my situation as it is right now.
Did your situation just happen?
Yeah, you know.
What happened to you?
I end up getting shot in my head, sitting in my car. But
By? By?
Somebody in the street.
Sorry to hear.
But this is the situation. If I would have knew that my father would have helped me, if I would have asked.
Right. If you had known that your father would in the future help you, you would have had him help you with your
No, but
future,
this was
not
the
hers.
situation. The tickets accumulated.
You're suing her for the $1,856.19 that your father
For
paid.
my father.
You didn't. Okay. All right. And you are suing her for taxi cabs from May, because when you guys come back, things go bad. What made things go bad? How come you guys broke up?
This would happen. 2 days before she ended up taking my car, she tells me, oh, can you come over? Can you come over? I end up going to her crib, right? Sorry. I end up going to her house. When I went to her house, I parked the car. There was no parking because she lives in the projects. 7 o'clock, we have to move the car in the morning. It was 6:45. I say, Jesse, I got to go move the car. She says, no, let me go get it. Cool. I give her the key. It's 15 to 7. I hear one door slam. Boom, that's her daughter going to school. I hear another door slam. Boom, she's still in the house. During the situation of our relationship, I knew that she was seeing the ex guy that she was with. Now, I had a feeling that he was staying in her house while I was there. But every time
But did you know she was
she
seeing?
talks to herself. When she goes in the kitchen and talks to herself, and I would think somebody's there, and I thought I was bugging out, but it tends to realize she was talking to the dude in the house. That's when I said, hold on, I just heard somebody else go out. She goes out, and when I'm looking to see if she comes around, I see her running out the building with her son through the projects. She takes my car.
Okay, so she takes your car.
And never brings it back. She hides the car. I'm not gonna go around looking for my car because I'm handicapped. She hides a car 5-6 blocks away.
Wait, but what does she say to you when you finally see her?
She says nothing. She says, I'm not giving you the car back. You're robbed. That's it.
Wait, that's what she says?
That's
You're
what
robbed?
she tells me. She said, I just robbed you. Ha, ha, ha. And she hangs up the phone.
Okay, did that happen?
I don't think so.
Oh, you don't think so? What do you think? Because that was a very vague answer to that.
The police came there.
Go ahead.
I don't think so. I don't remember saying those words. When he called me, he asked me what happened to the car. I told him I parked the car. I took my son to school, and I said, you should just take a cab and go home.
Why are you taking a car that is registered in both of your names? Because I'm not believing you that he gave you the car. I'm just not. Now you're counterclaiming him for the airline tickets, for your flight to Florida, a small amount that you returned to his father for tickets, and $400. Were you supposed to pay back the father?
Well, he didn't tell me that. That's an agreement that he made with the father. I never spoke to the father on the phone.
Listen, lady.
He didn't tell me.
Lady, do you owe the father the rest of the money? Not him. Do you owe the father the rest of the money for your tickets?
Well, you put me in a difficult position.
He didn't tell me. I didn't put your tickets. I did not rack up $1,856.19 of tickets.
I could have paid my own tickets at the time.
Well, then you pay them now. What's the problem with paying them now? If you would have paid them at the time, then you can pay them now too.
And welcome back to the People's Court. Harvey Levin here in front of the TMZ Celebrity Tour Bus. Hey, everybody! People in Los Angeles, from all over the country taking the tour. So here's the question. Who is more vengeful when relationships end? Men or women?
Women.
Why is that?
We are evil.
Why is that?
Hell hath no fury like a woman scorned.
I've heard that. Men or women?
I say women, yeah.
Interesting. Men or women, real quick.
Definitely women.
Men or women?
Women.
Anybody say men here? Really? Why? Oh, come on. Come, misdirected woman. Come over here.
Men get really crazy. I mean, they do violent stuff. I mean, we eat ice cream, but they come back like with sledgehammers and knives.
Ice cream versus sledgehammers going inside the courtroom.
You have the car, right?
Yes.
You're counterclaiming $4,299.03 because you want him to pay you for insurance from February through March. You want the money back that you paid to his dad.
These are responsibilities towards the card, yes.
Okay, wait. You want the money that you paid his dad. Poor dad, who has nothing to do with anything. You want the money back, the $450 you paid his dad, you want it back.
Right.
Do you think we'd be here if you had just returned the car?
No. Well...
No, the answer to that is no. I can answer that for you, sweetheart.
He abandoned the vehicle.
He abandoned the vehicle. You left somebody in a wheelchair while you took off in the car to run your errands. How dare you?
It's
Don't
in my house.
talk. There is no question pending.
House.
Stop.
I'm just saying the facts.
No me dejes esa cara tampoco. The Blue Book value of that car is $2,285. Okay? I find that you owe him $1,142.50 for the car. That's one. Two, you owe his father $1,406.19 for the tickets. That is my judgment. Good luck, folks.
I get my car.
Plaintiff collects over $2,500, almost $2,550. This is the defendant here. Now's your chance to say what?
What a bum loser. I'm serious. I don't owe him anything. At the end of the day, he's just making all this up. I did not steal the car. We brought it together in the relationship to the house. The person who left is the person who's basically
abandoned. You say
He
abandoned.
abandoned the car.
Yeah, into your possession.
Yeah, but it's in my possession. Why would I throw away a car that somebody already threw away?
Mm-hmm. Okay, all right. All right, follow Officer McIntosh that way, please. All right, that brings us to the plaintiff coming out here into the hallway. What's going through your mind here?
She's just bugged out. That's what bugged people do, and I'm just happy that the judge ruled in favor of me. Hopefully, I can get my car back and let her start walking for the winter. But
well, you had a good relationship at one time, right?
No, it wasn't good. It was just she tried to get over. That's it. You know.
All right.
But it's been good. The judge did good.
Okay.
You know?
All right, right down this way. Okay. Let's go to Harvey in the street.
You know, Kurt, I got to tell you, I can't figure out whether she just doesn't get it or whether she is just a bad person.
This is the plaintiff, Rachel. She says she had a one-night stand with the defendant. The guy promised to pay for the motel room. And when they got there, he said he had no money. She had to put the room on her card. He didn't pay her back. And if that wasn't bad enough, he also stole $100 out of her bag. Some people. She's suing for $1,634. The amount she's out. This is the defendant, Mr. Lore. He says he met the plaintiff on Facebook 4 months ago, and they were talking for a few weeks. The plaintiff wanted to come meet him for the night, and she reserved a room for them. They spent the night together, but he wasn't really feeling it, and the next morning he told her. Bottom line, he never told the woman he would pay her back for the room. He categorically denies stealing any money from her, and he owes her nothing. He's accused of letting a lover down.
All parties, please raise your right hand. People's Court is now in session. The Honorable Judge Marilyn Milian now presiding. Litigants have been sworn, Your Honor.
Thank you, Douglas.
You're welcome.
All right, Ms. Rachel, you are suing Mr. Lore for $1,634 that you say you're out when your carefully planned one-night stand didn't turn out the way you wanted it to. So talk to me and tell me what's going on. How did you meet him?
On Facebook.
All right, so you meet him on Facebook, and how do you meet him? You had friends in common?
No, I think we just liked each other and then started messaging on Messenger.
So you two start talking.
Yes.
And you live where and he lives where?
I live in Rochester.
And he lives?
in Binghamton.
All right, and how far is Rochester from Binghamton?
3 hours.
3 hours. All right, so you're talking to each other for how long before a decision's made that someone's going somewhere?
Prior to around June 17th, we started discussing me going there.
And when had you guys met online?
On June 8th.
Oh, okay. So 9 days later, you're gonna visit him?
On June 24th is when I drove to Binghamton.
Right. So how was it discussed? Do you have those messages where it's discussed?
I have all the messages where...
Afterwards, I'm not interested. I know what happened later. I have all of those texts. What I'm asking you is what happened before. Because your position is who's supposed to pay for the hotel?
He is.
Right. And your position is what on that?
It was my understanding that we would pay for the hotel together.
Okay. So did you ever tell her I'll pay for the hotel?
I do not remember. Honestly, I may have. If I can be totally clear, honest, this is very embarrassing for me, but I'm going to be honest. A lot of these conversations were drunk and few. A family member just died. I was very upset.
Are you single or not?
Yes, ma'am, I am.
Okay.
And I was drinking. I'm a teacher, and I'm very embarrassed to say that. I'm a middle school football coach, and I'm a personal trainer. And my sister died, my father died back to back, and it got to me. And this young lady messaged me, a friend requested me, and I was literally sitting on my bed, drinking, watching television every day, drowning my sorrows. She was very nice. She was very pretty.
Well, you talked several times.
Yes,
right?
ma'am, we did. Several.
All right, so then she drives up, and then you think you may have told her you'd pay, and then she gets there, and when you get there, tell me how things go. You drive out there, and what happens?
I drive out there, and I'm sitting in the motel parking lot as he told me he was on his way to meet me. And I'm waiting and waiting, and then I finally text him, "Where are you? I've been sitting in the parking lot for an hour." Then he tells me that his son had his car and got in a fender bender.
Yes.
And then he's asked to have me drive there. I drive there and pick him up.
To go pick him up? How far away was that? Can you please stop interrupting?
Oh, I'm sorry.
She's talking and you just keep talking over her, mansplaining.
Forgive me, Judge.
Wait a second. Who made the hotel reservation?
Well, he was supposed to, and then at the last minute he said...
What's the last minute?
Right before I'm driving.
Right before you get in the car?
Yeah.
What does he say for why you have to make it?
He says that he's busy at the school with the children, and basically, could I please do that? He has it covered for when I get to the...
Do you have that text? Do you admit having told her that?
I said we will split it. I always maintain.
Okay, so there is a dispute about that.
Yes,
so I do need to see
And I still feel that I'll split it. I have no.
Well, you still feel that? That's very magnanimous of you, except for that you haven't paid anything, right?
Ma'am, you want to look at me as a bad guy, but I have
no, I'm
problem.
not. I don't want to look at you as any guy. You guys are grown adults, and you make a plan, and you're entitled to make your plan. Now, listen to me. You've driven 3 hours. He's made you wait an hour. He has not gotten the hotel room. When is it enough red flags for you to say I'm turning around and leaving? The answer to that really depends on how lonely we are at the given moment, right? Right. So you pick him up, and then how does the night go?
The night doesn't go. Really just stayed in the room. We went to the store. I think I got cigarettes and juice. I had exactly 520s on me. Came back, took a shower. My 520s were missing out of my purse. I didn't make an issue at that point because I really did not know what to do, Your Honor.
Okay.
And yes, I did make bad decisions. I understand I was going through a lot at that point. I didn't really know what to do.
Okay, but so tell me this. What I would like to know is, how did the night go?
It didn't go.
It didn't go? What does that mean?
Well, there was some kissing, but there was things about him that I realized that everything that he claimed to be and the masks he wore came off.
Okay, how?
He was intoxicated. He showed signs of other abuse of things that I don't have proof of, but I believe that he was on stuff.
Okay.
And so basically he had pulled out a bottle of his liquor and was drinking. I basically just maintained myself, stayed there. He was passed out, and then the morning came and the money didn't get produced.
Meaning what?
He he still said the next morning, knowing I wouldn't be in Binghamton, that he would send it.
Okay, according to you, you may or may not have told her you'd pay for the room. You tell her, I don't have a ride, my son got into an accident with my car, and so she goes to pick you up.
Yes.
And then what happens?
We get to the room. She's already intoxicated, Your Honor. I'm not intoxicated. I'm a trainer. I own my own business. I'm a football coach.
Well, you had said moments ago that you had a couple of deaths in the family, and that your entire relationship before this night was when you were wasted.
But she's saying, she's trying to demean my character by saying, oh, he was on some this. I don't do anything like that. Did I have a few drinks? Of course. I'm a full-grown man. On the weekends, of course I have drinks. But she's trying to say that I was some drunk guy. There's nothing in my past, in my history, to say anything like that, which I think is very messed up. She was very drunk. She lost her money. She never accused me of taking the money.
All right, so then her 100 is definitely missing. We know that, but we don't know how. And then after go back to the hotel room, then what happens?
She did not want to leave. She said we just stayed there. I had something planned. We were going to go out, go hang out, have some chicken wings, hang out with my friends. She begged me not to go. I just met you. I want to get to know you. And I said, okay, fine. So we stay in the room. We had a night together. Okay. The next morning.
Did you have sex? Why is this?
Your Honor, we didn't.
Okay. She says no.
She's lying. Yes, Your Honor.
She's lying, and you did.
Several times.
Okay. Several times.
Several times.
Okay.
I'm not going to lie.
Your Honor, if I can tell you.
What woman is going to drive 5 hours?
No.
Well, no, I assume she expected it. That's exactly what she expected. But go ahead.
Your Honor, nothing sexual other than some kissing happened, for the simple fact that when he took his clothes off and sat on the motel sheets and there was poop stains everywhere, my stomach cringed. So I got myself an extra thing and put it on my side.
Disgusting.
And no, nothing else happened.
Okay. I asked.
You did ask.
I did ask.
And I'm very offended and disgusted right now.
Who says what to who in the morning?
Your Honor, whatever happens, happens. But all I know is I have my truth. I woke up and I did not want to be with this woman because, and I didn't want to say this, but because she's doing this and lying and defacing me, and this is whether you believe me or not, I can go on record as saying this. She was not what I thought. She didn't speak well. She's very ghetto. She used the N-word quite a bit, just in regular conversation, and that's not who I am. And I said, this is not the person that I want to hang out with, someone that I did not know, okay? And I said, I'll pay for half of them. And I went.
Wait, what do you say? Wait, what is the? Because everybody expects
there's a
right. That's what I want.
Right,
I want to know how you broke to her. I'm out of here.
I said, listen to me. This is not working out. This is not working out. I'll pay you for half the room. And I put my backpack on my back, and I walked out. She got out of bed, grabbed my backpack, and said, are you really going to leave? Or are you really effing going to leave? Bleep, 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 bleep. I'm not going to say it. This is the truth. She was like, F you, whatever, on the phone with someone cursing me out. And I said nothing. I called her no names. I did nothing. She called me about a week later. I said, give me your information. She said, I'm going to call your job and get you fired.
Your Honor,
this is what she said.
I have the messages.
This is what she said.
I have the messages, Your Honor. This was all done here through video chat, and then right here is where it starts about the motel before I get there.
Oh, goodness. This is why you were a little bit reluctant. I take it, since I'm seeing both of your multiple body parts, I'm really looking for a discussion about the hotel. Okay, so here's what I see. At 11:04, it says, I need to put that money back in the account at the bank when I get there, since they don't take cash. It's all got to go on the card. And he says, of course. What money did you think she was talking about, if not the...
I gave her $200 when she got there, Your Honor.
You gave her what?
I gave her $200 when she got there.
No, she's not talking about that. She's not talking about that. She's talking about the hotel.
Well, I thought that's what that was.
Your Honor, he never gave me.
Can you not talk? Go ahead.
When I got there, when she picked me up from my house, I gave her $200. And I thought that was going to be for the weekend.
You gave her what?
$200. And I'm sorry, I'm lying. $180. And I thought
was it 20? Was it 200 or was it 180?
It was $180.
Your Honor.
And that was for the hotel, and that was for also because we were supposed to go out with my friends that night. Okay?
What does that have to do with giving her $180?
Well, I didn't think I needed a receipt or that I would be.
Okay, hold on one second, because I'm fascinated by this, because there's not one mention anywhere that you gave her $180. Why didn't you say to me, I gave her $180 if you did?
Didn't, Your Honor.
Once you picked me up, I did. But that's all right. It's not there, so that's fine.
You know what?
I will take the L on it.
You know what? Oh, you're all about honesty, and you know you teach your students that they need to be honest.
And I'm very good at it.
Okay. Now, instead of just suing for the hotel, you're also suing for gas, the money that you feel he stole, and pain and suffering, $500. Tell me about that.
Your Honor, I understand it was a short duration of talking, but through the messages and FaceTiming and everything, he sounded and I told him a lot about myself and what I was going through with my job and what I was going through personally in my life. He sounded as if he was this person, he's so caring and blah, blah, blah. So the devastation that caused me, the anxiety.
Okay, but you think that's an actual compensable expense in court? Like, that you make a bad decision, you picked a bad guy, it didn't work out, that he's got to pay you money now?
Well,
you have to know that that's not going to happen.
He intentionally I know.
Yeah, that's what dating is, you know, and you like the guy until you don't. And you get to know him,
He intentionally knew what he was doing. He was lying the entire time.
Oh, I don't doubt that. But,
and Your Honor, can I just say?
But your remedy to that is to get paid what you were supposed to get paid. That you came to court to fight for that, and I get that. But you are also suing for gas. He was never supposed to pay for the gas.
He told me he was going to take care of everything when I got there.
Okay, you have any proof of that you supposed to pay for gas?
It doesn't say gas.
Okay, because I find that even though it's cryptic, I do see the text really do sound like he was supposed to pay for the whole hotel. So you're going to get the motel bill. But the gas, you would have to prove to me that it was always something that he was going to pay gas. Meanwhile, when I look at your text, you're never talking about gas.
No.
So just like he never talked about this magical $180 that he paid, $20. I gave her 20. I gave her 200. No, wait, I gave her 180. I don't even know how that happened. All right, but I'm not going to listen to him bring it up at the end of our trial. So I'm not going to listen to you all of a sudden, make up an obligation either. I find that you can't prove there's an obligation on that. On the stolen money, I don't know, honey. But I don't think that you have proof. I think you have your suspicions, but I don't think that you have proof that he stole the money. And the pain and suffering, next time make better choices. I do find that he owes you the amount for the hotel. The total amount for the hotel is $427, correct?
Yes.
And I am ordering a judgment in your favor in that amount.
Thank you, Your Honor.
All right, both sides, hold on, please. Hold on.
So in this pretty amazing dispute between the plaintiff and the defendant, the plaintiff is going to prevail. She was seeking $1,600. She's only going to get $400 and some dollars because Mr. Lohr, the defendant, has to pay for the hotel room. Mr. Lohr, what do you think about what the judge decided here?
I have no problem with what the judge decided. I was going to do that anyway. I don't like the fact that she tried to put my name through the mud over something that wasn't true, but it is what it is. I have no problem with it.
All right. Well, we'll leave it at that.
All
okay?
right.
Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
The exit's on your left.
All
okay?
right.
Thank you. Let's find out if Rachel has learned out anything from all of this. Let me ask you, Rachel. You brought this case to court. Do you remember what it was that attracted you to him to begin with?
No, actually, I don't. I just was going through a rough time and made a bad decision.
Yeah, boy, I would say you did. All right. Well, look, good luck to you. All right.
Thank you.
So, Doug, this is a breach of contract case. You do not get pain and suffering for breach of contract. That's when you have some kind of physical or mental injury, and that's called a tort in the law. But for a contract case, forget about getting pain and suffering.
This is the plaintiff, Erica. She says she dated the defendant, and over the course of their relationship, she paid for all sorts of things for him. He promised over and over to pay her back, and when she asked him for the money, he began to fade away. The defendant turned out to be a real slickster. She's not going to allow him to just take her money and is suing him for the $2,277.45 she's owed. This is the defendant, John. He says he and the plaintiff really hit it off, even though he's 10 years older than she is. The plaintiff bought him things during their relationship, and he bought her things. None of the money she's suing him for was for a loan. These were all gifts. He spent and spent on the plaintiff and her son, like you normally do in a relationship, and now she's claiming she loaned him the money? No way. He's accused of taking advantage of a lover.
All parties, please raise your right hand. People's Court is now in session. The Honorable Judge Marilyn Milian is now presiding. Litigants have been sworn, Your Honor.
Thank you, Douglas.
You're welcome, Your Honor.
All right. Ms. Erica, you are suing Mr. John for $2,277.45 in items that you say you bought for him and he was supposed to pay you back throughout the course of, almost 2 years, right?
Yes.
Talk to me and tell me what happened. How did you two meet?
I met him on a dating site.
Okay. And how long did you two date?
Roughly about 90 days before it wasn't going to work out.
Okay.
We both decided to keep it as friends.
Okay.
Talking on the phone, not going out. December 2020, I met John. We went out to the movies twice in December. He paid for that. Then in March, I went out and I purchased him 2 outfits and a pair of sneakers. That was a gift. We didn't go out again until last year, July, August, and September. He took us to the aquarium in July. August, he took us to a trampoline place in Jersey. September, he took us to the circus.
Who's us? You and who?
Me and my son.
Okay. How old's your son?
He's 6.
Okay, go on.
We were not in a relationship.
What, did you have a physical relationship?
We did sleep together.
Okay,
on
but
occasion.
In other words, throughout the time, like consistently, however consistent it was, but just like always, or no?
No, it wasn't. It wasn't always. In the beginning, the first 90 days was consecutive.
So when's the first time you loan him money that he's supposed to pay you back?
In December.
Okay, you know you've included stuff that you bought him in March, right?
Yeah, I can correct that. I put everything as a whole.
Even the stuff that you yourself say were gifts and not loans?
No, what was a loan was the $600, the $100, and the $300.
What's $600?
I dealt him $600. The loan started for a trash pump.
Okay. So you loaned him $600 for a trash pump when?
Yes, in December. I have the paperwork.
What? Okay, but your lawsuit, because I didn't file the lawsuit, you did.
Yes, I did.
You're suing for the Nike sneakers, the Nike switch. Are you taking that back now and saying now there's?
I'm not taking it back. I'm not taking it back.
So you are suing for it?
I am suing for it.
And you want him to pay for it, but you just told me they were gifts.
So you know what? I will say that as a gift. Yes, I will.
I'm just repeating what you said.
And you're absolutely right,
All
Your
right,
Honor.
so when is it that you loan him cash for him to do stuff with? That's when the pump comes up?
That's right.
All right, and how much money did you loan him?
I sent him $600 for a trash pump.
Okay. And then what else?
He spoke to me on the phone. He told me he was going to pay me back to add it to the list.
Did he ever pay you back anything?
No, he did not.
So why do you spend 2 years giving him money if he's not going to pay you back? I mean, according to you, you bought him the sneakers and the sweatsuit and the sweatpants, and he's supposed to pay you back, and he doesn't. Now you're saying, no, okay, that was a gift. What about the windshield sun visor, $21 you're suing for? Is that a gift or is that a loan?
He asked me to get it for him, and I got it for him.
And did he ever say he was going to pay you back?
No.
Okay, well then why are you suing him? Because you can only sue him for stuff he says he's going to pay you back for, which, not for gifts you buy him. Because, if I ask somebody to buy me a gift and they do, then it's a gift. That's it. They can't sue me for that. Or if I decide to buy somebody a gift, I can't then sue them when I don't like them anymore. So according to you, you loaned totally $1,000 to him, $600, which we've talked about for the pump, and then another $300 and $100. Tell me about the $300 and $100.
He didn't specify what the $300 was for.
Why'd you give it to him?
Because he asked me.
That's all it takes?
That's not all it takes. I trusted John.
Why, though? At that point, he hadn't paid back the $600.
The lump sum of money that was given out to him that he did borrow was last year it was in December, October. October, November, and December. So I had known him long enough, and he had not displayed any behavior that I couldn't trust him.
Except for that you keep loaning him money and he keeps not paying it back. Do you ever tell him when you want him to pay back?
We never established a certain date, no.
Okay, how long were you two seeing each other? I know you said 90 days for real, but then after that, how long were you two talking on the phone and then occasionally going out and then whatever?
The last day we went out was September 25th. Me, him, and my son, we went to the circus.
Okay.
I stopped talking to him March 16th of this year because I had originally filed the case in small claims form, and then we spoke again in June.
And what happened in June?
He emailed me the day before court and asked me if I could postpone it because it was his mother's birthday. He was going to be on a flight.
But as it turns out, what you did was go to Vegas, right?
Yes, ma'am. I did go to Vegas.
Is your mother in Vegas?
No. My family had. My mother wanted to go to Vegas for her birthday.
Oh, okay. So it was a family thing? It wasn't just you and the boys in Vegas? And
No, ma'am.
All right, so you go to Vegas, and then when you come back, what happens?
I emailed her. She emailed me back. Then she called me. We started talking. You know, first we had harsh words. Why you did this?
Who said that to who?
I'm not really remembering. I know we was talking over each other.
Yeah.
Till I changed the subject that calmed everything down and we got to talk. Then she explained to me, you know I don't want to sue. I didn't want to do this. She's aggressive type woman. She wants somebody to be submissive. That's why these things that were gifts in the beginning, the sweatsuit as you were speaking about, and that was the first week that we was together.
Was she spending a lot of money on you?
We were spending money on each other. It wasn't a lot
Yeah, but
of
do you
money.
think she was trying to buy you?
Of course, that's because whoever she was with prior, this is how she controlled him.
By what? By,
purchasing things and, just to have him under her control.
How does that, it sounds to me like it's the other way around. Like, how does that put somebody under your control when you're just spending money on them?
Because if she feels she's doing for you, then you must do what she said.
Did she want the relationship more than you did?
We was compatible because, it's exciting because we are born on the same day, 10 years apart. So we was talking just off of that basis, and I liked her, But, and I think because we are pretty much the same, we have the same type of mannerism on certain things. Well, I'm an alpha male, she's an alpha female, and we started clashing, She wanted me to be at her house, and I'm a busy man.
Okay.
So when things came and I wasn't doing what she wanted, that's when the lawsuit came. But then once we started talking again.
Oh, did you guys, when you say you started talking again, did you start going out again?
We was going out.
After Vegas?
No, not after Vegas. No,
Well,
because it was like.
Did that lawsuit get dismissed?
No, she dropped
the first one. She dropped it?
That's why I was surprised that I got.
But when you started talking again, what were you doing besides talking? Nothing?
No.
So you're talking again and you're friends again?
We was cordial, but she wanted me to start seeing her again.
Okay.
And I wanted to keep it on a cordial friendship basis because I knew us being together was a toxic.
Okay. Now, but what I'm trying to understand is then why did she drop it?
Because she wanted me to be back with her.
Why did you drop that first case?
He emailed me and asked me if I could postpone it.
Postpone is different from drop. Did you drop the case?
I did not drop it. I didn't show up to court because he asked me to postpone it.
Right, but did you postpone it or did you just not show up to court?
I did not show up.
Well, when you don't show up, they dismiss it, right?
Yes.
So that case ends up dismissed and then you file this case when?
August 8th, I believe I filed it.
And that trip for your mom was when?
Father's Day. What's that, June?
Right. And between June and August, are you two seeing each other at all?
No.
Okay.
We were talking.
Just call. He would call me. I would call him.
So if you're friendly and stuff, does the subject of the money come up again?
It always had came up. It started from December coming up. I just didn't pressure John. John told me that his business was slow with the oil, so I was just patient. Again,
I see a number of times when she texts you, and well, actually, let's be very specific here. Have all my things ready, John, so I can pick them up and leave. And I want $250 a week. You pay up cash balance of what you owe me. Let me run down the prices. And then you mention a bunch of prices. This is in January of 2022. And according to your text, on that day, what he owes you is $2,052. And your answer to her isn't, what are you talking about? Those were gifts. Your answer to her is, whatever you say. Let me know when you're downstairs.
Because she's argumentative.
Okay.
I mean, she came to my house. If I didn't want to be with her, she came to my house like pretty much on a stalker. She was sitting in front of my building with her son in the back seat for almost 30 hours. And this was during the time of me working. Just recently, prior to us coming here, I spoke to her, said that we was going here, keeping it cordial. I said, I'm going to the gym. I will call you when I finish the gym. 45 to an hour into my workout, she calls me. Oh, I thought your back was hurting. I said, I'm in the gym. I'll talk to you later. I get 17 phone calls back to back to back. I have to cut my phone off. Mind you, we are just talking. We are just cordial. We're not dating. Haven't seen her. And this is what it always was. So if I wasn't complying with her, the reason why she...
So what was your plan? You say here, not a problem. Every week I will sell you money. And she says, thank you. And you say, no need for any more conversation.
Because it was becoming a nuisance, Yana.
Okay. So
phone,
did you ever sell her any money?
I don't think so. I just wanted her to stop calling me, coming by my job. It was just becoming, posting up in...
What happened to the $250 yesterday, she says? I asked you, John, what happened to the $250? Are you supposed to be Zell me weekly to pay me off? And then about...
They go on and on. All this her texts. That's me ignoring her. Because I didn't want to argue.
I see at some point she asked, can you be more precise? You've told me that you're going to mail money, Zell money already and nothing. So it's $250 a week this week starting what day? You say it will sometimes be less. It will sometimes be more. Could be any day. What kind of answer is that?
Yana, when you get fed up with the constant harassment, you'll say anything. I just wanted peace.
Welcome back to the People's Court. I'm Harvey Levin. The plaintiff says everything was going fine in their relationship until she asked him to repay money, and then all of a sudden things went south and he has ghosted her. But the defendant says, look, each of them did stuff for the other in the relationship, so they are even Steven. Let's go back into the courtroom and find out who's right.
You know she's like a dog with a bone with this. She's not going to let go.
So even when I try...
Right, so what's the point of telling her what you're saying, to appease her when she's just going to come right back and say, hey, you owe me the money?
I mean, she left it alone because she thought we was getting back into a relationship.
Well, so you're kicking a can down the road, but eventually...
You're right, and here I am today.
Yeah. I have two observations. Number one, I think that there's some merit to that, Erica, that, in this relationship, whatever it was or wasn't throughout all that time, at some point you just stop, you stop giving money unless the money's doing something for you. But if someone just keeps asking for money and you just keep giving to them, it sounds like you want something more from them, because that's the only reason to do it otherwise. And you're not a stupid woman. It's not that you think he's going to pay you back, because you know he's not going to pay you back. He's never paid you back. And according to him, he spent money on you too. And, he spent money on each other and that you were very generous. But now he realizes that it was an attempt to control him and buy him. I think that's one thing I'd like to make an observation about. But the other thing I'd like to make an observation about is if you feel that, then why do you keep hitting her up for money?
It wasn't hitting her up, Yana.
So what about the pump? Like the 600 of the pump and the 400? Why don't you return the 600 that you got for the pump if she bought the pump? How did you give him $600?
I Zelled it to him.
Do you have the Zelle proof?
I could pull it up on my phone with my
Is it starting to sound more familiar?
No, I'm not saying she didn't, but I know she bought the pump. Everything she did with the visor. Oh, I see you. Oh, you ain't got a visor in your car? Next thing you know, she's an Amazon queen. So, okay, I'm gonna get this.
That title's taken. I realize you're angry about it because looking back now, you feel like you were taken advantage of, and I get that. But I have to make a decision based on the testimony I'm hearing about whether, there was a clear understanding that you were going to get paid back for the money you were investing in this, and And I'm sorry, I just kind of don't find it. I don't find it. Can I ask you, do you have any evidence between the two of you of any text where he asks you for money and says he's going to pay you back?
No, I did not.
Okay. Based on this evidence, I cannot find them to be legitimate loans at the time. It really just blends into a boyfriend-girlfriend thing, and I am finding in favor of the defendant.
Right there, please.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Have a good night.
So the plaintiff fails to get more than $2,000 from the defendant. The judge says, no way, she does not prevail. Erica, you heard the judge. I'm sure you're a little upset, but what are you thinking right now?
We'll talk later, but it's cool. He knows what's right. I'm not mad at him, and life goes on. It's all good.
Is it over between the two of you now?
It was never anything. We were more cordial as friends, and I don't have a problem. We would still remain friends. He would just never get a dime from me again.
All right, Erica, John's a defendant. I'm sure John's a little relieved right now. You don't have to give her any money, John. You have won. How do you feel about it?
I feel great that this situation is over with.
But you're still friendly. You can be friends with her, right?
Yeah. Erica's a nice lady, you know. We just not compatible.
Thank you very much. Good luck and congratulations, okay?
Thank you.
Still enjoy your friendship with her.
All right, thank you.
Very good. What you think, Harvey?
Okay, so in this case, there were gifts. I mean, this was a relationship, and this is pretty common. You should know, however, that there is a presumption in the law when money goes from person A to person B. The presumption is that it's a loan, and you have to repay it. You can rebut that presumption with evidence, but going in, it's a loan. In this case, ultimately, the presumption was rebutted.
This is the plaintiff, Bethan Ward. She says the defendant is her ex-boyfriend, and she foolishly co-signed on a car loan for him, and also gave him the down payment money because he has terrible credit. She realizes now this was a dumb thing to do because she can't get him to pay her back, and she can't get her name off the car loan now that they've broken up. She's suing for $3,000, the amount she's out. This is the defendant, Kyle Taylor. He says he was dating the plaintiff and his now current wife at the same time in 2020. The plaintiff was having a relationship with his girlfriend at the time, and they were involved in a 3-person relationship. Everyone contributed to the relationship. The plaintiff gave him $3,000 with no discussion of it being a loan, so he owes nothing. He's accused of being in a love triangle.
All parties, please get your right hands.
Welcome back to the People's Court. Next case on the docket. The plaintiff says that the defendant and her ex-boyfriend stiffed her on a car loan and she wants her money back. But the defendant says that he and the plaintiff were involved in a 3-way relationship with another girl, and they all contributed money, so they're even Steven. It's the case of managing a menage.
Thank you, Douglas.
You're welcome, yeah.
Okay, Ms. Ward, what's going on?
Hello. So I'm currently here because my ex-boyfriend, Kyle Taylor, we had signed off on a Jeep together in October of 2020. When we were together for 6 months. And at the time, we were in a relationship with another person. And he was moving to Maine from Jacksonville.
Break and explain to me what you're saying.
Sorry. So as of October of 2020, I was in a relationship with Kyle Taylor.
Yes, that part I got. And another girl. And the other girl is what to Kyle Taylor?
Is now his wife.
And was also his girlfriend at the time?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. So in October of 2020, how long had you been dating?
About 6 months.
And how long had you been dating your mutual other girlfriend that is now his wife?
The same time, 6 months.
Same amount of time. How'd y'all meet each other in order to, I'm just curious because it's unusual, so I'm fascinated.
Right.
How does one find out that the other person is into this? Like, what happened? How'd that go?
So I met Tiffany first, his now wife. I met her through some mutual friends in a group that we had in Jacksonville. And then in March, that's when COVID happened and everything shut down. She introduced me to Kyle so that we could play video games together. And we just kind of started talking, and he had mentioned that him and Tiffany had always wanted another girlfriend. And I was like, okay. And I'd thought about it, never really considered it. And then I met up with all of them together.
Okay.
And we just kind of all agreed to start dating.
Well, this was the most interesting use of COVID, of the free time that COVID gives one that I've heard up to date. By October, everyone's dating everyone for 6 months. And then what happens?
And then it gets to the point where Kyle gets a job in Maine. He gets a job opportunity in Maine. And we find out that he needs to move to Maine.
And what does Kyle do?
He was a manager at Walmart.
Okay, so he's getting a job in Maine at Walmart?
Yes, as a manager.
Got it, go on.
And so he had a Camaro at the time. And he said that because it snows up there, he wanted a vehicle that wouldn't get stuck in the snow. So he said he wanted to go and trade in his Camaro for a Jeep. He had mentioned to me at the time that because I had really good credit and his credit wasn't great, he said it would be beneficial if I signed off on a vehicle with him.
Beneficial for whom?
For him to be able to have easier payments, and for when you sign off on a vehicle and you have good credit, you get a better deal when you purchase a vehicle.
Except for that he isn't buying a hoopty that'll do him in the snow, is he? He's buying a $50,000 Jeep. So better for whom? Just him. What was it going to do for you? What is wrong with you?
And at the time, I thought that it would be beneficial for both of us because I've never signed off on a vehicle before. I've never owned my own vehicle. I asked him about it.
Right. And he said, yeah, this will be good for us. And you thought it would be good for you. How?
Because I thought at some point I would think about moving to Maine with him because we were going to be together forever.
And what was going to happen with the other girl?
She was going to move up with us.
And everybody was just going to be hunky-dory, and nobody was ever going to there was never going to be a problem in this arrangement. That's what you thought.
Right. That's what we were hoping on when I signed off on it, yes.
Really? Okay. So keep talking.
Okay. So I signed off on this vehicle. When it came down to paying for the down payment, we had agreed that we were going to put a joint together of $4,000 down. I had an open credit card that had a $7,000 limit. So I said, okay.
Oh, we can't have that. We got to make sure to use up the whole limit. All right, go ahead.
So I said, I'll put $3,000 down. And he had $1,000, so he put $1,000 down.
Why doesn't he just put all the money down if it's his car?
Because he didn't have $4,000 to put down.
Oh, well, maybe he shouldn't be buying a $50,000 car.
Yeah.
Right. And that didn't occur to you?
Not at all.
Not at all.
Like I said.
Not at all. Well, how much does the new car have to cost for you to say, whoa, if you don't have a down payment, why are you buying a car this expensive?
Honestly, at the time, I didn't.
Because you've never broken up with anybody in your life and you didn't know that some relationships break up?
I didn't know that.
You weren't planning ahead how this one might break up?
I mean, I didn't know
how two out of three might end up together and squeeze the third one out?
Yeah, I didn't know the responsibilities that came with signing off on a vehicle.
I'm sorry, just a second, because the document you signed says what happens, and you're not a cretin. You know that, in fact, you are signing and therefore adopting responsibility for it. You know when you did it that it meant that your credit is going to go in the toilet. Because answer me this, how does a person get bad credit?
As far as I know, you get bad credit from having debts that you owe.
And that you don't pay.
Checks. Correct.
That you don't pay, right? So you put your name on a vehicle with him that you expect him to pay, right?
Right.
How'd that work out for you, darling?
Not great, apparently.
Right, because here's in a shocking turn of events, what did he do?
We got in arguments after arguments, and I broke up with him.
And he isn't paying.
Right.
Who saw that coming?
I guess not me.
Yeah, not you. Mr. Taylor, what's going on?
Hello. So at the beginning, we were talking about getting a different car because of the snow.
Well, no. Back it up. So you're dating, what's this third party's name? First name only.
Tiffany.
So you're dating Tiffany, and you become friends with Bethan?
Correct.
And then you and Tiffany decide that you want to spice up things because, you need more than what you got. And so you bring Bethan into the quotient?
In layman's terms, yes.
Oh, no. I want to know the professional terms. What would be the other different terms?
We all thought that we all had a mutual feelings for each other and decided that's how we wanted to go with it.
I bet you did, cowboy. And then what happens?
We were good for a while until, I guess, Thanksgiving's really when it all started going downhill.
How did it go downhill?
I wasn't with her on Thanksgiving.
With who?
But
I can't keep it straight.
Either one of them.
Okay.
They were together on Thanksgiving.
Okay.
And apparently so was Bethan's new boyfriend.
Okay, hold on a second. So while the three of you are in a threesome, Bethan gets a new boyfriend?
That's what it seemed like to everyone involved.
But she denies it.
She denied that it started then. But as last thing I knew, they were still together now.
Okay. So then what happens?
She broke up with me in December. And then she proposed to my now wife in, I think, November.
Okay.
And then they broke up in January.
And when do you get Bethan to do your bidding on your $50,000 brand new Jeep?
The vehicle was purchased in October.
What exactly did she put down on the car?
$3,000.
Were you supposed to pay her back?
It was never discussed that I was supposed to pay her back. At the time, we were together in a relationship, and it was something that was better for all of us.
How was it going to be better for everybody, for you to have a $50,000 Jeep in another state? I know it would be better for you, but how is it going to be better for everybody?
So we were looking together before that one was picked. And then since we were going to be together, it was better to get a vehicle that was better. They were going to come up
Oh, by the way, when I say the two of them, Tiffany forked over how much for the Jeep?
Nothing.
Oh, how come?
She actually didn't know that we went and got the Jeep.
What did Tiffany say when you showed up with a brand new Jeep?
Where'd you get a Jeep?
And what did you say?
I told her the dealership.
Yeah. You still didn't tell her, so you were obviously keeping from her that Ms. Ward had helped you to purchase it. Why were you keeping it from Tiffany?
So there was, I guess, a power struggle between the two of them.
Oh.
And I didn't want it to escalate. Which
Didn't see that coming, did we? A power struggle for what? Over you?
Yeah.
So she puts down $3,000 for the down payment. And let me ask you a question, Mr. Taylor. Are you making the payments on the Jeep that, I guess they put it in both of your names, Ms. Ward?
Yes, ma'am.
And so are you making the payments, Mr. Taylor?
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah, how far behind are you?
I'm not.
Okay, because you were, right?
I had one that had to be put at the end because of my job, but now it's...
I don't know what you're saying. You missed a payment? Is that what you're trying to say? You missed one payment?
I would have missed one.
Well, why was she getting all these notices? You make it sound like you took care of things in advance, but it sounds to me like you took care of things when she blew up because she was getting notices, right?
I think the notices were because of the date that the payments were due. Sometimes it would be it wouldn't be late, but it would have to be not on the date.
Ms. Ward, how did you find out that he was behind on payments?
In April, I got the email from Wells Fargo stating that he had missed a payment and he owed 2 months of payment. It was the month that he missed
March and April.
in the current month.
Yeah.
Correct. So I texted both of them and said, just so you know,
Both
I received
of them?
an email.
Who's the other one?
Kyle and Tiffany.
When did you break up with Tiffany?
I broke up with Tiffany with January of 2021.
Okay. Did you invite Tiffany to join you and whatever other fellow you were with?
No, and I was not dating, Clayton is his name. I was not dating him until January of 2021.
Okay. And is he into this stuff too or no?
No, not at all.
Okay. So why Tiffany?
Because at the time, from when I messaged him in February, I had barely gotten any responses from him about the situation. And so I texted both of them to make sure that they got the notification.
Okay, and why were you reaching out to him in February?
In February 2021, I reached out to him when I received the sticker that goes on the license plate, the registration.
And you asked him to take your name off the loan?
I asked him to refinance the Jeep in his own name, correct?
Right. And how'd that go?
It did not. He didn't respond to that.
Of course not, because since his credit is bad, he would have to pay more. And if he was willing to do that, he wouldn't have used you the way he used you, right? So that wasn't going to happen. And of course, a bank isn't just going to let you off, right? Because they got you on the hook. They banked on you being responsible in his place, right? So, okay. So now your name is on there for how many years at his mercy?
As far as I know, I think it's about 20 or 30 years. At that point, I wasn't sure how long.
No, it's not 20, 30. Okay, you really are naive. It's not 20 or 30 years on a car. How long is the loan, Mr. Taylor?
5 years.
5 years? That's actually longer than I thought it would be. So it's a 5-year loan, and you're paying how much a month on this car?
$854.
Okay. And you can't afford a down payment on it. She's got to give you 3/4 of the down payment, but you think an $854 car note is just peachy for a guy in your position, right?
No, it's bad.
Okay. So what you're suing for is to get the $3,000 down payment back. Now, he describes a situation, and so do you, because when I ask you, why did you give him $3,000? It's like, well, we were all going to be together. That's your answer. And I think that once it turned out that you weren't going to be together, you look back on this and you say, maybe this wasn't the best idea, and now you'd like your money back, right?
Correct.
Yeah, I don't blame you, except for here is how it goes. I have to find that it is a loan at the time that it's made. If you do it because it's the girlfriend, let me use your exact words, it was the girlfriend thing to do, okay? And then it turns out that things didn't work out between you, I guess you're just stuck with the downside of making the decisions that you make, you see? So I can't turn something into a loan, which at the time was a gift. The dispositive issue is, was it a gift or a loan at the time? So if you bought it because you thought you were going to be together forever, and it turns out that you're not, then too bad, so sad. Your money's gone. It was a bad investment. Verdict for the defendant.
So the plaintiff does not get the $3,000 she's after from the defendant. Mr. Taylor lucks out here. Ms. Ward, let me ask you, what are you thinking right now?
To be honest, I'm a little frustrated. I was trying to explain to her at the time that he made these promises about working it out with me, but you know, if he pointed out and he said that there wasn't anything claimed, then I guess I can't argue with it now.
So your name is still on that loan along with his, right? So you're going to be on the hook for that till the end of it's a 5-year loan.
Yeah, I guess so.
And where are you? He's in Maine. What state are you in?
He's now moved to Jacksonville, Florida. I'm down near Micanopy, Florida.
Oh, you're both in Florida. Well, hey, maybe you can go borrow the car that you're making the payments on, you know?
I hope so.
Listen,
I'd love to drive it.
I feel sorry for you. I feel so, but what a tough lesson to learn. Wow.
Yeah.
Mr. Taylor, I got to ask you, don't you feel sorry for her in some way?
In some way, yes.
All right. Well, listen, she's on the hook for it, and maybe you'll let her drive around in the car at some point in the future. It's a very interesting situation. Are you sorry you got her involved in this or not?
Yes. It was a sticky situation.
Right. Well, good for you at least. All right. Well, amazing situation here, and that's what goes on in court. So thank you very much. I hope you can work it out with her, okay? And that'll bring this case to a close.
Doug, how many times have we had cases where money changes from a boyfriend to a girlfriend or vice versa, they break up, and initially it was a gift and suddenly they're arguing it's a loan? The reality is this: once you give somebody something, that's it. You cannot convert a gift to a loan. You can do vice versa, but a gift is a gift forever.
This is the plaintiff, Candice Winfield. She says she met the defendant on a dating site, and they hit it off immediately. She thought nothing of renting a car for him, buying him airline tickets, and sending him some money because she thought they were going to be the real deal. Unfortunately, things didn't work out. Now she can't get him to pay her back. Some people. She's suing for $1,493.97, the amount she's out. This is the defendant, Darren Ingram. He says the plaintiff felt bad for him because he got COVID while he was away, and she purchased plane tickets so he could get back to her earlier because she was worried about him. He paid her back for the car. He's sorry things didn't work out, and he simply doesn't owe her all this money she's suing him for today. He's accused of stringing a lover along.
All parties, please raise your right hand. People's Court is now in session. The Honorable Judge Marilyn Milian is now presiding. Litigants have been sworn, Your Honor.
Thank you, Douglas.
You're welcome.
Okay, Ms. Winfield, what is going on?
I think it's just a normal case of a friend letting a friend borrow money and then the friend not paying someone back.
So you two met how?
We met online, the kind of dating site.
Which one?
I think it was Facebook.
And then you started dating?
Casual.
Okay. And what happens?
We hung out for a few months, pretty, I would say hardcore. Majority of the week we'd be hanging out, doing things. Mr. Ingram had been planning to go to Costa Rica for quite some time. He had mentioned it to me, had talked about his plans, had invited me and my daughter to go. Kind of last minute.
He was going with his sons?
He was going with his sons,
And how old
yes.
are his sons, more or less? Like, are they teenagers or?
19, 18, 17, that age range.
Uh-huh.
We decided not to go.
Why did you decide? First you had decided to go, right?
Correct.
And then you decided not to go because?
He was doing like some planning to try and kind of save money here and there, and the adventure seemed a little too much for us. My exact words were, "I'm not trying to get sex trafficked this summer."
Because wait, but why did you feel that way? Because he was going off.
Like, he wasn't going to like resorts or anything like that. He wanted to kind of head it himself, rent a car, kind of
go into the jungle.
There you go.
Yeah.
And no.
No? Okay, that's it. Well, May, you guys are, different. All right, so go on. So you decide not to go, and what happens?
So he's continuing to plan. He's very excited about this. The day of comes. He needed a ride to get the rental car to get to the first point of destination. I drop him off at the rental car place. I'm waiting, to leave once he says everything's okay, and everything wasn't okay. He had a debit card, not a credit card, for the deposit portion of it. And so I offered to do the deposit, like this was the start of the trip. So I was like, let's just get you guys going. We agreed that I would pay the deposit and that he would turn the vehicle in, and that would kind of be the end of it. He had already prepaid the car. So they're off, they're gone, they leave on their trip. Everything that could go wrong on the trip went wrong. His phone.
What? Like what? What went wrong on your trip?
My cell phone crashed the first night. The second night, the ATM ate my debit card.
The dog ate my homework.
Right.
Go on.
And so I asked Candice if she'd let me borrow $500 until I got back from Costa Rica, and she said yes.
How long were you there?
4 or 5 days.
Okay.
And so at the end of the trip, she offered to purchase a one-way ticket for my sons and I to fly back.
Well, didn't you have a ticket?
I did have a ticket. But my return trip ended in New Orleans, and which would require me to rent another vehicle to get back to my hometown.
Of?
Fayetteville, Arkansas.
Okay.
And so I didn't have a credit card at the time to pay the deposit for the rental. And so she was...
But didn't you know this before you left to Costa Rica?
No, ma'am.
Not much of a planner, are you?
It was my first international trip. And so...
Yeah, but whether it's international or local...
Right.
How were you planning? Why would you buy a ticket that takes you to New Orleans with no game plan to get from New Orleans back?
I did have a game plan, actually.
What was your game plan?
I thought I could use my debit card to pay the deposit.
To rent a car?
Yes. Right. So, because I have used a debit card in the past to rent a car, but the rental car place didn't allow me to use my debit card.
Well, you didn't end up, like, you figured this out. What happened? Do you guys get sick when you're over there?
Yes, ma'am, I did.
COVID?
Yes, ma'am.
All of you?
Just me.
Okay. Because I see one text that you send her where you say, I'm sleeping on the porch. What porch?
Oh, okay. So on our return flight, I had a layover in Charlotte. And the plan was to stay the night at a friend's house. But by the time we got to Charlotte so late, we knocked on the door. He didn't answer. He was asleep. And so
Wait, did you have a plan to stay there, or you had a plan to knock on his door and surprise him?
We had a plan to stay there. However, our flight was late returning to Charlotte.
Okay.
And we didn't get to his house until close to midnight.
And he just wouldn't answer the door?
He has a family, he has kids, you know.
Yeah, but still, like...
Right.
I don't understand. Did you knock on his door?
I did. I rang the
And he wouldn't
doorbell.
answer the door?
No.
Did you text him?
Right. The next morning, he saw us outside on the porch and he apologized.
Okay.
He had taken some sleeping medicine, helped him sleep.
Okay.
And so he said he didn't hear the doorbell. And so we just slept on the porch until the next morning. I mean, he apologized. It wasn't a big deal.
All
It was a nice
right.
neighborhood.
So now you're in Charlotte, but according to you, she offers to buy you guys a direct flight from where to where?
From Charlotte to Fayetteville.
As opposed to you going from Charlotte to?
New Orleans.
Okay.
Where I had to rent a car
And
in New
that was
Orleans.
just out of the goodness of her heart.
Yes, ma'am.
You agree you owe her the $500.
Yes, ma'am.
But you don't agree that you owe her the flights.
Correct.
Okay. Why would this girl, like, if you're dating casually, why would she pay for your flights? I mean, if she wants you to pay her back the $500, why wouldn't she want you to pay her back the $769.71 in flights?
Right, that's a good question. You have to ask her.
I'm going to ask her, but I
right.
know what she's going to say. She's going to say, I never said he didn't have to pay me back. Why wouldn't you make him want him to pay you back for the flights?
No, I understand.
Yeah, right. Did you want him to pay you back for the flights?
Yes, and I sent a
Okay,
text
so I'm
to
asking
that
you
effect.
now, why wouldn't she want you to pay her back for the flights? Where do you get that she didn't want you to pay her back for the flights? Do you have any proof of that?
No, ma'am, I have no proof of that. It was just her word against mine. Just in conversation, she said I have to pay it back.
Is
Yes,
it
ma'am.
her word against yours?
Yes, ma'am.
Did you ever text?
Yes, ma'am. We
Can I see the text you have with her?
okay, so my phone died, crashed in Costa Rica, and so we corresponded a lot through my son's cell phone.
Okay, so do you have those texts so
no,
I can
ma'am,
see what
I
the
do
agreement
not.
was?
His account was hacked, and he no longer has access to those text
You know
messages.
who does have access to those?
She does, yes.
So what am I going to see when I look at those texts?
A conversation about
Whether or not you were supposed to pay back the flights, and what am I going to see there?
I'm not sure.
Oh, well, why don't we?
Yes, ma'am.
I'm in Charlotte now, trying to reroute flight to Little Rock instead of New Orleans. Can you help me with the cost of the ticket? And she says, look, we're coming up on $1,300 once all is said and done. If she does that, I will need the $500 from Cash App back ASAP, and the remainder by the end of July. What part of that makes you think you're not supposed to pay back the flights?
Welcome back to the People's Court. I'm Harvey Levin. The plaintiff thought that she and the defendant were going to be the real deal. That is, until she says he showed his true colors and stiffed her. Now, the defendant says the plaintiff was worried about his health. She gifted him money for plane tickets, and now she's just sore they're no longer together. Let's go back into the courtroom.
From the text message, it looked like I'm supposed to pay back the amount.
You think?
But after that, when I returned back to Arkansas in our conversations, she tells me I don't have to pay her back.
Okay, my interest is what was the agreement when you got the money? The agreement when you got the money is that you're supposed to pay her back. Did you ever tell him he didn't have to pay you back, darling?
No.
Okay. This is why you don't normally do this without a long conversation and something in writing. But lucky for you, these texts are basically the kind of proof that you need. Now, does he ever pay you back the $500?
No.
Okay. And he was supposed to pay you back when?
So it's the $500 plus the tickets, and then they return home. I actually went and got them from the airport and took them home, and then I go a few weeks later to get my reconciliation from the rental company because I rent often, and I show that there was an extra day on my credit card.
Because he showed up late with the car?
No, on his Facebook he said, oh, and I didn't catch this at the time, but I went back later. I guess he was enjoying his time where he was, and he was going to keep the rental for an extra day. Did you keep the car an extra day?
No, ma'am, not an extra day.
When did you return the car?
I was an hour late returning the car.
Okay, and so they charged you they charged her an extra day on her credit. Show me the proof that they charge your credit card.
It's right here. It shows the prepay first, and then the $249 or $224.26 is what was remaining.
Yeah, her credit card got charged another $224.26. If you're the rental car company, if you were an hour late and they charged you for that much, then you can take it up with them. But why should she have to pay that? She's out that money. I'm looking at it.
Yes, ma'am.
Oh, jeez. When did you stop dating him?
It was like the end of July.
And why did you stop dating him?
Because he has a very hard time with honesty.
So tell me, what was the last straw? Did it have to do with the money?
No.
Oh, no. Why did you stop dating?
Casual dating experience that I was fine with Mr. Ingram having other partners, having other dates, because we were casually dating. But he seemed to think it was okay for all of us to be in the same day. So I'm a little.
So you don't have a problem if it's the next day. You only have a problem if it's the same day?
No, I have a problem if it's like not at the next.
You think STDs somehow magically leave that way, or?
Well, I mean, we're, like I said, casually dating. We're seeing other people. Like, I don't have any, common respect, right? Just making sure that you're respecting each other's boundaries.
What do you do for a living?
I am a mobile notary.
Mobile notary?
Mm-hmm. Small business owner.
Yeah. You deserve better.
I agree.
Right, but you have to believe that, right?
Correct.
Right. It's like, if there's nothing in it for you, and if you're pouring all this money into his little trip, and he's seeing other people, and it sounds like you didn't really mind that he was seeing other people, but then it sounds like you did mind eventually, because it's the same day or whatever, but
right.
You have to decide that you get what you want out of a relationship.
Correct.
It doesn't involve money going this way and attention not going that way. And I've read the text between you two where, like, at one point you say, "You're what I need right now, more than air." No man should be what you need right now more than air. You need air more than anyone else.
No, I understand. But I think you're taking it out of context. I was referring to the friendship. Me and him had a really good friendship. I came out of a really, really, really bad, long 18-year marriage, very abusive. And so the friendship was what I was referring to, the candid, the honesty. It wasn't like your air like love. It was more like air like you're refreshing.
Right. So how was he dishonest in seeing people the same day as you, if everything was so honest?
You keep using the word seeing people the same day. He wasn't seeing people the same day. He was seeing people the same day.
Okay, so he's having sex with you and someone else on the same day. What if it were two different days? What
if it was like time in between? I don't think
so. If there's 10 hours in between, you're okay.
No.
I mean, you're not making any sense.
No,
you know
I'm
that,
saying,
right?
No, I mean,
right, but you're not making any sense.
No, it is making sense because, like I said, if someone casually dates and you go out on a date and you're having sex with one person, that was the agreement that we would at least disclose what was going on, and he wasn't disclosing. He was
okay, that's different. So what you're saying is not that it was the same day, but that it was at all, because you wanted to be told if he had multiple
then I have
partners.
A choice, right? What I want to do or not do.
Okay. Do you have anything to say for yourself, Mr. Ingraham?
Well, I apologize for the inconvenience. If you find that her claim is accurate,
oh, you
I
think?
should hear back.
Well, let's see. She loaned you $500. You didn't pay it back. She bought your flights, and the text showed you were supposed to pay it back. Mm-hmm. And her rental car, and she got charged for your lateness on the rental car. So you think I'm going to order it? Yeah, I'm going to order it. $1,493.97 verdict for the plaintiff. But next time, use a little better judgment where your money goes, right?
So it's no surprise the plaintiff has prevailed. She gets what she's seeking here in the People's Court. Let's see what the defendant has to say. Mr. Ingram, you really didn't have much of a defense. What are your thoughts right now?
Right. I didn't have much of a defense. She's right. I owe her the money, and I'm going to pay her back.
But yeah, you are. The judge says you have to.
Right.
All right, that's it. I think she's probably lucky you're on your way. Okay?
Yes, sir. Thank you.
Let's talk to the plaintiff, Ms. Winfield. You have won. What do you think?
Well, I mean, I was pretty sure when I came here that I was due this money. I just needed someone else to say so I can get it.
The judge gave you some good advice. Do you think she's right and that you should be listening to her?
Oh, I think she's spot on. I just came back from, like I said, a horrible marriage, and I'm right out the gate. I met Mr. Ingram, and I just need to be a little more careful with who I spend my time with.
Congratulations. You have won.
Thank you.
And that'll do it.
Okay, Doug, again, this is a case where one text message was the smoking gun. This is why there was a winner and a loser, because of a text message. So if you're in a dispute and you think it could end up in court, think about that when you respond to a text or initiate a text to make sure you cement your position.
This is the plaintiff, Laquasia Gant. She says the defendant, her boyfriend of 2 years, owes her money for rent he's not paying her. And she's had it with his lies. He also stole money from a bank account. And the buck stops here and now in this courtroom because she's suing a scoundrel for all of the $4,452.56 she's owed. This is the defendant, Anthony Scott. He says he never lived with the plaintiff and she has no right suing him today. He thinks the plaintiff's suing him because she's mad their relationship went bad, and he simply doesn't have the time for her anymore. Over all his money? No way. He's accused of doing a lover wrong.
All parties, please raise your right hands.
Welcome back to the People's Court. Next case in the docket, the plaintiff says her boyfriend owes her money and stole it from her bank account to boot, but the defendant says she's just a jilted lover. It's the case of Cash Me Outside.
Thank you, Douglas. Laquasia again?
Yes.
Okay, you're suing Anthony Scott, your former boyfriend, for $4,452.56 that you say he owes you in rent, money he stole from you, and bank overdraft charges. What happened?
I met the defendant like 2 years ago, and we started dating in August. So we got into a relationship. After that, he had some issues with his apartment. He said that the sewage came up, so he was looking for an apartment in Jersey. He couldn't find one. I explained to him, okay, well, since you can't find one, you can come here, but you have to help me pay the rent half and half. He agreed. He came to live in January.
Of what year?
Of 2016.
Okay.
He was paying the rent. And then in September he was late. He paid September and October. And October he just didn't pay rent. October, November, December.
Wait, he paid the month of September, he paid it in October, and
Yes.
then according to you, he owes October, November, December, January, and February.
Yes, ma'am.
What happened in February?
February, he wasn't paying rent. The rent wasn't getting paid. But he told me, he was like, okay, I'm going to give you $1,000 this week, and in 2 weeks, I'll give you another $1,000, and then I'll pick up the rest. I said, okay. But me and the landlord, he told me, he was like, we're not going to sign another lease. I said, that's fine. You have to move out. I was like, well, can I move out in March so this can stop? He told me yes. I said, I won't be penalized. The landlord said yes. I explained this to the defendant. I said, listen, the landlord said we have to be out by March 1st. He said, okay, no problem. He was going to
Actually, I've read the text. He didn't say, okay, no problem. What he said was, where are we going to go, Quay?
Yeah, he's
right.
Well, but eventually he said,
yeah,
okay, no problem, because he left and he went somewhere else.
So did he pay you that $1,000?
No.
Did he pay you that other $1,000?
No.
Right. So he lived there rent-free then how long?
5 months.
All right. Now, according to you, he also stole money from a safe?
Okay. We had a safe in the apartment. The plan was to put money for the move. So I gave out $1,000 to put in the safe.
Why would you give him any money when he owes all that money?
No, this was before he owed the money.
Right, but no, how could it be? Because you didn't know you were moving in September.
No, we knew we was going to move into our own place. So I had a roommate at
So
that time.
when did you put the $1,000 in the safe?
I put it in I think it was April.
And how did that moving money not then become rent money so you wouldn't get evicted? Why didn't you just...
I asked him, I was like, well, give me the $1,000 that's in the safe and I'm going to pay it. You know what he told me? He said the warrant squad was going to come after him, so he needed to pay the $1,000 to them. I'm like, no.
Wait, the warrant squad?
The warrant squad. Because
for what? He had a warrant out for his arrest?
No, he owed tax money. I said, that's not how taxes go. They just garnish your tax check.
And then what happened? So he took the money to pay his taxes?
That's what he told me.
All right. And who put money into that safe? Had that, like, who was putting the money into the safe? Both of you?
The only money that was ever in the safe was the $1,000 I put in there. He already used it.
All right. Now, what is this $827 in bank overdraft fees? How could bank overdraft fees reach almost $1,000? Who's minding the store here?
We have a TD bank. I have a TD bank account. He was using my TD bank account.
Meaning what do you mean by using it? He could write checks?
He was writing checks.
Oh, you put him on your checking account?
I was the only one authorized to be used.
So how was he using
Everything
it?
was in my name.
So would you give him an ATM card? What'd you do?
He had my ATM card.
Okay, because you gave it to him.
Right.
You didn't steal it.
No.
Oh, okay. So then you give him your ATM card, and he overdrafts how? By taking too much money out of the ATM?
He took money out of the ATM. He set up payments that he never paid. He had his school loan, his QVC account.
Okay, but I have a question for you. How does it get to $827? That's over the course of how long?
In that 2 weeks.
I need to see the bank records, please.
No problem.
What the heck is going on?
Nah, what happened is that I wrote every 2 weeks I got payments arrangement, right? So pretty much I lost my job. They gave me my last check in a paper form.
Yeah, because you told them to.
Yeah.
But you'd taken money out of the account.
Yeah.
So you left her with an $800 deficit, $827 deficit. So you acknowledge you owe that.
Yeah, I know that.
Let's talk about the money that she says she put in a safe so that you two would have moving money and that you then use for your own personal use. Is that accurate?
It's not accurate.
Okay, tell me your side of that.
So how long do you date somebody before you start commingling funds?
I think it's all about trust.
Well, no, I want to know how much time do you have to wait?
As long as it takes to sign the prenup.
Okay, but suppose they're not getting married. I mean, give me a time. A year, 6 months, what?
At least 1.5 years.
A year and a half, okay, 18 months.
Probably 2 years.
Yeah, I think she's smarter than a year and a half. I really do. Going inside the courtroom.
She gave me the money. I put it in the safe, whatever. I did use it to clear off some debt, and I was going to
Did you tell her that you,
Yeah,
not after
that's
the
what
fact,
I'm saying.
did you ask her for the money to be able, did you say, can I use that money to pay off my debt?
We play with bread all day. Like,
say it again.
We play with money all day, so the $1,000 is nothing between us.
That wasn't my question.
Yeah.
I didn't ask how much cash you roll with. That's the answer to how much cash do you roll with. My question to you was, before you took her cash, all right, that was in that, because she says that was her cash. Is that true? Okay. Before you took it to use it for yourself, did you ask her?
Yeah, she knows. This is like way in the beginning of the year.
Okay. So she's just wanting that money back now because you guys broke up?
Pretty much. And she think I'm a, rob or something like that. And I'm like...
What about the rent money?
I always pay my bills, miss. Always.
Okay,
and
first of all...
it's a bad habit.
Wait, it is a bad habit. Yeah, it is a bad habit. And if I was a male judge, would you say buddy?
Nah.
Okay.
I apologize.
So it's judge, not miss. But let me ask you a question. I always pay my bills. You want a cookie? Because that's what you're supposed to do. My question is, did you pay that bill? Were you supposed to be paying rent? And did you pay it?
Up to what? November?
Did you pay October and November?
To my knowledge, I paid up to October.
Do you have proof that you paid October? Because she just...
I just give her cash. Here. I just give her cash and walk away. She handles all the
but then
bills
why
and
did you
everything.
stop giving money for rent? October, November, December, January, February, 5 months you weren't paying any rent.
Because truthfully, we wasn't paying the rent.
She was paying her part of the rent.
She paid her part of the rent after January.
Let me see your...
She can give you the rent, Miss. I know it's after January.
Well, either way, I mean, she's still paying it more than you are.
On top of that, her rent situation is really...
Why were you
between
guys
her-
not paying the rent October, November, December?
Why?
Yeah, why?
But we was too busy going out.
Who was?
We was.
Where were you going?
We used to go all over the place.
Like what?
They're not.
Are you trying to be a jerk?
No,
like
I'm
you're
not
trying
trying
hard,
to be a
or
jerk.
does it come naturally? Why didn't you guys pay the rent?
All of this wasn't a problem until we broke up a couple of months ago. Then she found out that the overdraft fee happened like a couple of months ago.
Okay, but so why didn't you pay back what you overdrafted, and why didn't
That's
you?
the thing. That's the thing. I showed her that I had her money cash. I showed it to her.
What good does that do? Why don't you give it to her, not show it to her?
I was asking her to meet me downtown Brooklyn.
Because you guys were broken up
we
already?
was broken up, and it's like I was trying to say what little we have. Like, trying to get her attention because she completely cut me off.
So the reason, right, she cut you off because she thinks you're a loser who doesn't pay his bills. And so you were holding her hostage, because I read the text. You wanted her to meet you, and you would only give her the money if she met you. And if she didn't meet you, you weren't going to hand her the money. How much money was it that you were going to hand her?
What, cash? 18.
And why 18? To cover
Her
what?
bank fees and the $1,000 that I took from her, which
I thought you said you didn't know her that.
Which I acknowledged.
Right, so you do acknowledge $1,000, all right. And then, so what is your defense on the rent?
I showed her that I had her money. Just meet me downtown Brooklyn. You're mad at me, you're mad at me. All I ask you is just talk to me. All this could be an iron out without going through the courts.
Ironed out how? I see in your text how you're telling her, I love you, you can't just dump me like this. What, that's it? We're never going to talk again?
I love this woman like crazy.
Why did you dump him?
It was going nowhere. It felt like it was take, and I was just giving, and I guess I finally woke up like I don't have to give no more.
But
and then
some things happened, and I couldn't.
Okay,
contact you to reach
please
you
stop,
to
because
say
I'm not a
what's
marriage
going on.
counselor. I truly don't care. I'm trying to discern a defense, and I hear none. I'm ruling in favor of the plaintiff in the amount of $4,452.56.
Well, the defendant has come out of the courtroom. Mr. Scott, you owe her all this money. What do you have to say for this?
Oh, this month we're not together no more. That's all.
Yeah, you're not together, but
And
she's stuck with all those bills.
She wasn't stuck with it because along the way I was giving her bread at the side, and she already know. I'm not gonna keep going through all of this. She got what she got. She got her come up, and that's it.
All right. So it's all over between the two of you? You still friends or not?
I mean, she can holler at me when she wants to, if she wants to. But my communication, my door's always open.
All right. Well, she sued you and she won, so you're going to have to live with that, okay?
That's life.
That is life, indeed. All right, Ms. Candice, if you'll step out here. Let me just ask you, are you still friends with him after having gone through this in court with him?
No.
No? No. It's all over? Okay. Congratulations. Thank you very much. Harvey?
Okay, we have talked about this, Doug, before, but I want to try it a slightly different way. Do not confuse giving money to somebody for love, because the two do not even intersect. They don't even intersect a little bit.
This is the plaintiff, Tamara. She says she loaned the defendant, who she'd been in a relationship with, money to fix his slashed tires. He keeps telling her he's going to pay her back, but hasn't, and she's tired of waiting around for the cows to come home. Well, today's Judgment Day, and she knows the judge is going to rule in her favor for the $420.68 the defendant owes her, and she can't wait for her to bang the gavel and force him to pay her back. This is the defendant, Ron Kelly. He says the plaintiff gave him the money while they were dating. Never told him it was a loan until after they split up, and he doesn't think that's fair. If he had known the money was a loan, he never would have accepted it. Now she's harassing him. She was certifiable when he broke up with her, and he's not paying back what was a gift in the first place. He's accused of leading a lover along.
All parties, please use your right hand.
Welcome back to the People's Court. Next case on the docket. These litigants were in a relationship, and she loaned him money to fix his slashed tires. The defendant says the plaintiff gave him the dough. It's the case of Sick and Tire.
Thank you, Douglas.
You're welcome, ma'am.
Tamarla?
Yes.
Okay. You are suing Ron Kelly, your former boyfriend? All right, for $420.68 that you say he owes you and has not paid you fully for. Tell me what happened.
He told me one day that
How did you two know each other?
I thought we were in a relationship. He told me we were never in a relationship.
He says that?
Yes.
Did he tell you that at the time?
Yes.
Were you intimate?
Yes.
There you go. All right, go on.
So one day we were coming from somewhere, and he got home. He got outside of the place, and he said, somebody slashed my tire. So the next day we talk on the phone. He said, yeah, I don't have the money to get this tire fixed. My tire's been slashed. And I said...
Did he have a wife or a girlfriend while this was going on?
He had a whole lot of girlfriends, and he had a wife too, yes.
Oh, Lord. All right. Maybe that's who slashed his tires. Go ahead.
So he said he had to get his tire fixed. So I met him at the auto shop, and I swiped my card to pay for the tire.
Why?
Because he said he needed a tire.
And he gets whatever he needs from whoever he needs it?
No.
Well, apparently. If you knew that he had girlfriends and a wife and you're, that's kind of interesting. All right. So you go ahead and you pay for the tire, and does he ever pay you anything?
At the place when
By the way, what day was this?
I have the receipt.
Yeah, go ahead. You can look at it. And who's the person with you?
This is my girlfriend, Abigail.
Who's here as moral support?
Yes, as moral support. This was done 10/26/2014.
What's going on here? How is this happening? Is this like a reflection of what's happening in the politics? What's going? Okay. He's owed you this for 4 years?
Yes.
And how come you've waited this long to file the lawsuit?
Because he kept saying he was going to pay me back, and I just waited. And plus, we were sleeping together.
Okay, be honest. Would you ever date a married man or anybody?
No, never.
Somebody super hot.
No.
Okay. Would you ever date, who haven't I talked to? Married man ever?
I would not date a married man.
Okay. Who's going to budge here? Ma'am.
No.
Well, that wasn't convincing. Going inside the courtroom.
Okay. When was the last time he paid you anything? According to you, he paid you $50, right?
Yes.
When was that paid?
May 18th.
Of what year?
This year.
Okay. What's going on?
Well, Your Honor, first of all, I've been divorced. I didn't have a wife at the time that I was dealing with.
Did you have a girlfriend that you were stepping out on with her?
No. See, here's the situation, Judge. We have been going back and forth. And she did give me the money for the tie, but I never said I was going to pay her back. But what happened was we've been going back and forth in and out of, like you said, whatever. And it seemed, so when we broke up, she would ask me for the money. And when we got back together, she wouldn't ask me for the money. So it was kind of like, as long as we were together, I didn't have to worry about the money.
Yeah, that could be true, but you could also still have owed her the money. That could have been still your understanding. I mean, why should she pay for your tire?
Well, what happened was
$420?
That was for one. I needed two, actually.
Yes, I know. So it's a lot of money for a tire for her to all of a sudden go pay for you. Why didn't you pay it yourself?
Well, because I didn't ask for the money. And I've never gotten a dime back from any lady I've ever dealt with in a relationship and given her money. I've never gotten a penny back from any of them.
Have you ever sued for it?
No.
Oh, you should sue.
No, because it's it's kind of, we all kind of know that if we give a woman money you're in a relationship with, you don't expect to get it back.
Okay, so if you give a man money in a relationship, you don't expect to get that back.
Get it back, no.
Right, and that is true if the reason that you gave the money was a gift because you're in a relationship. It is not true if the reason that you give the money is a loan because you expect to get paid back. So it's your word against hers except for one thing. You made a $50 payment.
Right.
Right. Why, if it's a gift?
Well, because she was, harassing me, calling me on my cell phone, and then when I blocked her number, she would call me from a different number, so there was no way to get away from it, in my estimation. So what I did, I said, okay, I'll give you some money just to keep her quiet.
And then what happened? Well, why didn't you keep paying it off then?
Because I didn't feel like I owed her any money.
So what did you think was going to happen with a $50 payment? See, a $50 payment kind of seems like at that point you were going to pay it back. Now, do you have any texts or anything from back then?
Yes, ma'am.
Oh, you do? From back then, not now. Not whiny back and forth now. I mean from back then, any emails, anything about him saying, thank you, I'll pay you back, or anything like that?
No, I have the texts from May 18 when he made the payment to my daughter, though.
Right, and did he say anything about a schedule at that time?
Yes.
Did your daughter give you an affidavit for me to consider?
Yes.
Can I see that?
Thank you.
He stated he no longer wanted to meet with me, but mailed the remainder of the money due her at her home on a biweekly basis until it's paid off. Did you tell that to the daughter?
I don't remember, Your Honor.
She says you did. I informed him I'd pass that along. She will not call him again, but wait, my mom said, great, I won't call him again. I'll wait for further payment, and payment came there none. All right, I'm gonna, based on what I've heard, I'm gonna go ahead and order you to finish what you appear to have meant to do, and the daughter says you said you would do. I don't see why you think she has to pay your bills. I hear what you're saying, that, girlfriends and boyfriends sometimes do something for each other. But I think this was something where you were able to get away without paying it so long as you were seeing her, and then maybe you weren't, as long as you weren't seeing her, and I get that. But I still have to determine whether or not it's a gift or a loan. And I think that this was something that you were supposed to pay back. And I'm going to order you to pay the remaining $420.68. That's my verdict. Good luck, folks.
So after 4 long years, the plaintiff is going to get her money back. Mr. Kelly, what did you think when you got sued?
I was flabbergasted, actually. I didn't really expect to get sued. I mean, it's been 4 years. I don't even have the car anymore. I traded it in for something else.
I'm sure you were surprised. You didn't think she was going to do that, did you?
No, I didn't. After 4 years, I thought it would be water under the bridge. I mean, whoever gives money back to a girlfriend or boy, I've never gotten a dime back from any woman I've ever dealt with, so I never expected this to happen.
Well, she was sure she was going to win, and she did, so you got to give it back, okay?
Yeah.
Thank you very much.
All right, thank you,
Sorry
Doc.
about that.
No problem.
Tamara, I mean, the judge even asked you, why'd you wait so doggone long? You know, you were positive you were going to win. You
Yes.
came in here today.
Yes, I was.
You feel better?
Yes, I do.
Okay. Have you learned anything from all of
Yes,
this?
I have.
What?
Don't lend anybody any money that you know that you're not going to get back. You have to get a signed agreement.
You learned a lesson.
Yes, I have.
Good for you. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. Okay. Harvey?
So look, even if you're in a relationship, if you loan somebody money, you got to get some proof. Just write an email saying, hey, I was happy to loan you the money, pay me back X, but you got to do that.
This is the plaintiff, Yulita Prophet. She says she met the defendant through Snapchat and began dating. Soon after, she loaned him some money when he asked, and sure enough, they don't communicate any longer, and he still owes her the money. The loan had nothing to do with their relationship, and she's here suing for the $532 she's owed. This is the defendant, Richard. He says he and the plaintiff were in a relationship and money went back and forth between them. They ended up breaking up because the plaintiff became too possessive. And when she surprised him by getting a tattoo of his name on her body, he knew things weren't going to work out. Bottom line, she's only suing for this money because she's bitter over their breaking up, and he thinks the judge will agree. He's accused of leaving a lover high and dry.
All parties, please raise your right hands.
Welcome back to the People's Court. Next case in the docket, these litigants met through Snapchat, and the plaintiff says the defendant stiffed her on a loan. But the defendant says money went back and forth, so it was a gift, and it got weird when she tatted his name on her body. It's the case of leaving before the ink is dry.
Thank you, Douglas.
You're welcome, ma'am.
Okay, Yulita Prophet, you are suing. You've asked us to refer to you as Richard, no last name. Okay. You are suing Richard, your former boyfriend, I guess, for $532 that you loaned to him and he refuses to pay you, according to you. Yeah. Tell me what happened.
He asked to borrow some money from me.
How did you meet him?
Through a social media site.
Which one?
Snapchat.
How do you meet people on Snapchat? I thought you had to, pick people to send it to.
You add and then you, snaps and snaps back and forth and messages and stuff.
But do you have to know who don't you have to know who you're speaking to?
No, you can add them and you see they
but how did you know that he existed to add him?
No, he added me.
How did he, you know she existed to add her?
Just adding random people from Instagram and stuff like that.
Wow.
Yeah, he just added random.
So go ahead.
And we became friends, and then a few months after we started dating, taking it serious.
Okay.
So
how long did you date?
We started dating in July.
Okay.
And he asked to borrow some money for his car insurance.
When did he do that?
On Sunday, the 28th of August.
Okay, so that's the 532?
Yes.
And at what point did you two stop seeing each other?
It's been off and on from since then. So.
Okay. Were you asking him for this money?
Yeah.
All right. And
he agreed to pay it back on September 23rd.
And did he?
No, he never paid anything.
Okay. So what happens? Who breaks up with who and why?
I mean, it's back and forth, basically. He started acting different and stopped talking to me and blocked my number, and then he will unblock.
That's kind of a message that he's not your boyfriend. He blocked your number. That's not off and on.
Yeah.
That sounded pretty off.
No, but then we would speak. I would call from other numbers to see are you gonna pay me my money?
Okay.
But then
that's not on though. That's you trying to collect the money.
Yeah,
so
but
you
then
call from other numbers and ask him is he gonna pay you your money?
And then he will unblock me and then block me again. So it's back and forth.
So did he basically borrow the money and then dump you?
Not really dumped. He just.
But you didn't want to break up, right?
I mean, no.
No, you liked him. You still like him?
Yeah,
All right, this is not going well, Miss Prophet. All right, so let me talk to you. What's the deal? You owe her money?
Well, yeah. Well, to me, I don't feel like I owe her any money at all.
Okay, let me just tell you that the last way you want to defend yourself is starting off with, yeah.
Then no.
When a judge asks you, do you owe her money? Yeah, I know. I don't feel like I owe her money. Okay, so why do you feel like you don't owe her money?
So can you make people like you by giving them money?
Well, I guess, yeah.
Oh, God. Please say no.
No.
Oh, no, please. Okay, now please mean no. Okay, I usually don't ask this question. How old are you?
15.
Okay, good. Just accept my word. Never think people can like you by giving them money, okay?
Okay.
Okay, my job is done. Going inside the courtroom.
Okay, to be honest, I mean, in a relationship, people do things on both ends for each other. I mean, I mightn't have done as much as I could have for her, but I mean, she offered to help me. I accepted the help.
Right, but at the time that she offers to help you, are you supposed to be paying it back? Like, does she say,
Okay, the agreement we had, she was like, you don't have to pay me back right now, or you'd have to rush to pay me back. I was like, she's like, you don't really have to. I said, I will, because I don't really want you to say that, you know, or to make it any problem. So he's like, you don't have to rush to it. So I was like, all right, but I'll pay you
all right,
back.
so it was a
at some point in
loan.
time.
It's not like that was a gift that she gave to you. You just mean, hey, it was a loan, but she didn't have to give me a loan. Well, what does that mean, you know? The bank doesn't have to give you a loan either, but when they do, you got to pay it back. Why haven't you paid it back?
Because I was going to.
Well, I know you were going to. Can I pay my mortgage with you were going to? No, right? Can you pay your rent because someone says, I was going to pay him? Or my favorite, I never said I wasn't going to pay him. I never said I wasn't going to pay him. Well, have you paid her? I mean, because that was a couple months ago.
Yeah, but it didn't have a specific date to be paid back.
So when do you plan to pay her, sweetie?
I mean, I'm not sure, but I would have paid her. I would have. I would have.
When?
I don't have a specific date, ma'am.
Okay, are you working?
Yes, I am.
All right, what do you do?
I'm a forklift operator.
Okay, so you get a paycheck?
Yes, I do.
Okay, so in that paycheck, you couldn't find $20 to start making a payment plan or something or start to pay her?
Yes, I did.
What went wrong between you two?
All right, I mean, relationships have ups and downs, but I find she takes certain things, I went too far with it. So
like
that's
what?
why she started taking numbers off my phone, you know, calling my friends and stuff like that.
Really?
And yeah, so people I didn't talk to for like over a year, they contacted me. Why is this person asking me what relationship we have? So like, what? And then, you know, so it even reached the point where people wanted to meet up to fight and stuff like that. And I didn't like that. You know, because you're making my friends uncomfortable.
Did you pick up his phone and start?
No, I didn't have anyone fight him. Those
no.
are people
Did you pick up his phone and start like snooping around?
Yeah,
and calling
because
people?
I seen messages that talking about our private stuff. So I want to know who's that.
How did you see the messages?
Because it's on the phone. It's like,
how did you get into the phone? You don't have a password on your phone?
No, it shows up on the phone.
Probably use my fingerprint. I'm not sure if she did.
No, it shows up on the phone.
Sleeping and use your fingerprint. Oh my God, I love it. That's brilliant. Sleeping and use it. Forget the thumbprint. Now we got to have a number. Go back in time and do a number. Wow. All right. So how did you get into his phone?
I didn't have to. The message just shows up on the screen. So I took the number because he never saved it, and I texted her.
And you texted her and asked what?
Like, what's the relationship? What's your problem?
Oh, that sounds more like you're spying.
Yeah. I mean,
why don't you just say it? Everybody within the sound of your voice knows. Just say you were spying.
Yeah.
Why are you so insecure?
I'm not insecure.
You're not.
He's telling people, okay, it's one incident.
Who are you? Why are you calling this number? And what does she say to you?
Yeah, because we are intimate, right? And I don't know if he's messing around with other people.
Okay.
But we're not safe, so I don't know if he caught something.
Well, I have two suggestions.
Yeah.
Okay, don't date a guy if you can't trust him. Don't sleep with a guy if you can't trust him. And use protection so that you're safe. Those are my 3 pieces of advice. Because what you were doing, which is snooping around and calling people, is demeaning. It's degrading. Okay? You're a lovely young woman. How old are you?
23.
Oh, baby, you got your whole life ahead of you to be 23 again. Whoosh, I know then what I know now. It's a very low point. And it wasn't just that she was snooping. There were other things that kind of freaked you out.
Yes, ma'am.
And what was that?
Threatening me to make me lose my job and all that type of stuff. So that's why I kept blocking her.
Did she threaten you to? Do you have any texts from her?
Yes,
Do you have
I
text? Can I have them? Did you threaten to go to his job? What is this? You tattooed his name on your back?
Yeah, on the chest.
How long did you date this guy? You would tattoo his name on your body.
I mean, yeah.
I can't hear you. You're
It's just a
mumbling.
name.
No, it's not just a name. It's a permanent disfigurement of your body with the name of a guy who'd already broken up. So it's even stranger and
it wasn't
more.
like broken up. It's like on and off. One day.
I know,
we're
honey, but a
off,
tattoo's for like, you know,
Yeah,
a tattoo's like
yeah,
permanent.
yeah.
And you had been seeing him how long when you did this? Do you have other guys' names tattooed on you?
Not really.
Not really?
No.
What does that mean?
I have other names that doesn't mean anything. I just get tattoos of different stuff that I feel like I need to get.
All right, listen to me. I'm going to talk to you like you're my daughter. First of all, don't ever loan money out you can't say goodbye to. It needs to be enough where you just say, if it goes sour. If it isn't, then you loaned too much money. It's better if you don't loan money at all to anybody that you're dating. But I'm realistic, and I understand that sometimes stuff happens and you want to help somebody you love out. But don't do it if you can't afford to say goodbye to it. That's one. And two, you need to wait for a man that doesn't make you this crazy. You're only 23, you have your whole life ahead of you. You're gonna meet so many men between now and the time we say goodbye to the earth, okay? I can't even tell you. And one of them is gonna be, you're gonna look back at this and you're both gonna laugh about it, you and that soulmate out there. But you have your whole life to do that. I'm not gonna read out loud the text you sent them, but you need to give yourself, you need to be single and work on yourself for a moment or two, so that you feel that you are worthy of what it is you want somebody else to see in you. Do you understand what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Because he might be a perfectly good mate for somebody else, but he is not a good mate for you. And it'll happen. It happens to the best of us. Happened to me numerous times. And then you just, you feel like your life's gonna end this very moment and that you have to have this or you can't live. But of course, we all know that passes. It passes. It's like a fever. Okay? It's like a fever. So surround yourself by friends, surround yourself by wine and women, and make yourself feel better and move on down the road. Okay? That's my prescription. Lord, girl. And in the meantime, do me a favor. Pay this lady back, because you're supposed to pay her back. Pay the lady back. $532 verdict for the plaintiff.
So the plaintiff gets her money back. Not only that, you got a really nice, sweet lecture from the judge.
Yeah.
Some really good advice.
Yes, I did.
How do you feel about that?
I felt it opened my mind more.
I mean, you were starting to tear up in there,
Yeah. Emotional a bit.
She's like the mom you need at this point on a day like this.
Yeah.
You gonna listen to her?
Yeah.
All right, good luck to you.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you very, very much. Now here comes Richard, the defendant in this case. What do you think about what the judge just told her?
Well, what you said makes sense after all. The advice you gave to her, it makes sense.
I think so too. Mm-hmm. And you learned something from that as well, maybe?
Not really, no.
Not really? Okay. Well, anyway, thank you very much. You must sign a few documents and give her the money. Okay. Harvey?
Okay, I mean, look, I wasn't really kidding you, though. I mean, I'm really serious. We have had so many cases in the People's Court where people will shell out money thinking that you can buy somebody's love. We have had hundreds of cases, I think. And I will tell you, not a single one works out. You cannot buy somebody's love.
This is the plaintiff, Wendy. She says she and the defendant were dating, and she foolishly got her a cell phone and added the defendant to her account. She also bought this woman a flat-screen TV, and nothing's been paid back, so she's suing for the $4,000 she's owed. These are the defendants, Alicia and Kim. Alicia says she and the plaintiff dated for 3 years, and the plaintiff is very upset. She's harassing her, something awful now, as a way to get back at her, and this lawsuit is just a way to bother her. She most definitely doesn't owe her any money and will prove it today in court. She's accused of getting a former lover riled up.
All parties, please use your right hands.
Welcome back to the People's Court. Next case on the docket. The plaintiff says she was dating the defendant and she bought her all sorts of stuff, including a flat screen, and she has been paid back zilch. The defendant says they dated for 3 years and the plaintiff is just a woman scorned. It's the case of You Left Me Flat.
Thank you, Douglas. Okay, Wendy, you're suing your former girlfriend, Alicia, and her sister, Kim, right? For $2,862.96 that you say Alicia and Kim owe you for various items that you bought and were expecting to get paid back for. Tell me what's going on.
Yes. I opened a cell phone with Alicia in September 26th of last year. It's a contract phone between me and her. She paid the first month to me. Now I'm getting billed. She owes for the security deposit for the phone.
How long did you two date?
Like a year and a half.
Okay. So my understanding is you took her to court for the phone.
Yes, I did.
Okay.
Yes, I did, because the agreement was that she was supposed to pay me every month when she got her disability check.
So what ended up happening in court with the phone?
I won my case.
You won, and she's supposed to pay you back.
Yes, I got the paper right in front of me. She's supposed to pay me $880.
Okay.
For the phone.
Now, is that correct?
No, I paid her. The agreement was I didn't show up for court because I had doctors I needed to go to, so I didn't show up for court. The judge made an agreement that I had to pay her $420. I paid her $420 already, which was April 3rd.
Can I see the judgment?
Yep.
Okay, so let's put a pin in the telephone.
April 3rd.
How long did you two date?
It was a year, not even a year, half.
Okay, and according to her, you were asking her for money the whole time and you're not paying back the stuff that she loaned you money to get.
The TV, the iPhone, the silver chain was a gift. It was a gift.
Gift for what?
I don't know, they were Christmas gifts.
All of them?
Yeah, the silver chain, we was at the mall. She brought me the silver chain with the owl on it.
Okay, so there were presents?
Yes.
What about the 40-inch TV?
It was a gift, a early Christmas gift.
Okay, so early as in what month?
December, close to the beginning to the middle of December.
Okay, not that early. All right, and so why do you think she's taking you to court then? Actually, interestingly, when you took her to court for the telephone, you guys were still dating?
Yes, we were.
That's a little odd. Nobody thinks that's odd but me?
We stopped talking and then got back together.
Oh, okay, that makes more sense. All right. So when you're actually in court, you're not like, battling it in court and then saying, okay, let's go back home. That's not how it worked.
I recently stopped talking to her because she told me she was going to take me to Social Security and start my disability check. So I completely stopped talking to her then. I haven't talked to her. She literally contacted my 3 sisters.
That's okay. I want to hear it.
She contacted 3 of my sisters trying to get them to give her information because she wanted to talk to me on the phone. I changed my number and everything. She's suing me because I'm not talking to her. She said if I stop talking to her, she will make my life a living hell. That's what she said on the phone.
Okay. You're one of her sisters. Why are you suing her sister?
Because she stated, I'm in a new relationship, so I'm not trying to get back with the girl. I've been with my new girlfriend for 2 months already. She's saying that her sister took all the stuff. Like, everything is her sister took the TV, her sister took the chain. Every time I asked
and now she's, okay.
So I just brought them both into court to handle
For sport, okay.
Yes.
So, but did you buy her a TV in December that was intended as a Christmas gift?
No, she said she was going to pay me back in January.
never said that.
Okay, can I see, do you have any evidence to support your version versus her version, such as no, let's see you were going to show me the court order.
We have
never mind.
Court order from the plaintiff. And
okay, and then do you have a court order from the last case for the telephone?
Yes, I paid the $420.
I want to see, I don't want to see that you paid the $429. I want to see the court order so I know what the judgment was. And you guys started looking for it and then you stopped.
As far as I know, this is
I don't want to know what you know. I want to see a court order. That's it? Great, okay. Do either of you have anything to support your version of how this went down, such as text messages or a thank you note or something else?
No.
How about you?
No, I changed my number, so everything had got erased. But she did tell my sister that the TV, the iPhone, and the silver chain was a gift. The hospital bill has nothing to do with me.
Well, you lost on the telephone in court, right? You just didn't show up?
Yes, and I paid her the $420 already. So I don't
I
don't know why she's suing me again for the iPhone.
Because the arbitration case report says you failed to appear, and there was an award in her favor in the amount of $880.
But it was $420.
I don't care. That's why you show up for court instead of saying I have doctor's appointment. No, that's why you got to show up for court. You move the doctor's appointment, which is easier than moving court. And, or you ask for a continuance because you can't make it because you have a doctor's appointment that you waited for a year. But you don't just not show up and then expect, well, bet it was really $420. That's what showing up was for, to argue that. I am looking at the order of arbitration, and it says that you owe $880, so $420 ain't gonna cut it. Now, that's a separate case from what I have here because you already have a court order for that. So you gotta pay, we're gonna make you a copy of this because you apparently don't seem to have it, the court order? Okay.
At least the complaint.
No, that's just a complaint. I'm asking, see, what you have to worry about when you don't show up to court is what happened? What happened in my absence? This is what happened. So we'll get you a copy of that, okay? That was taken care of in another court. I am here now to discuss the hospital bills, the Samsung TV, and the chain. Were you around when that chain, and let's put the hospital bills to the side. Were you around when the chain and the TV was?
I have no knowledge about her chain. All I know is that
Did you ever see the chain?
No, she told me they were at the mall. The plaintiff told me they were at the mall, they were shopping, and she noticed that my sister liked it, so she went and bought it. And I said, okay, that's nice, that's sweet. And then as far as the TV goes, the week of Thanksgiving, because she called me, she was shopping like early Christmas, looking around, and this is Black Friday. So she said, I was looking at Black Friday, I saw this TV on sale. And she called me up and said, I'm gonna get it for her. She said, what do you think? I said, if you wanna use your money that way, I can't tell you how to use your money. If you wanna buy it for her, you buy it for her. She said, yeah, I know. She starts laughing, and then she says, it's an early Christmas gift for her, but I'm not gonna tell her. Okay. I said, okay, that's fine. I have no say.
Okay, I got it. And now, hospital bills. What are the hospital bills?
Because Kim sent me a picture. I was at her house.
At Kim's house?
Yes, I was at her house with a couple of people. She waited 7 hours to tell me that her sister has herpes. So I've been in and out of the hospital being checked because she sent me.
Why do you have to go in and out of the hospital to be checked?
Because I wanted to make sure I didn't have anything. I have 3 kids.
No, I know, that's one check. Why is it in and out of the hospital to see if you have the herpes virus?
They kept on sending me back because I was
Show me proof of that. And what are you describing? You're at a party at her place?
I wasn't at a party. We met up with her. We met up with her. We were talking to her.
Was Alicia there too?
No, she was not.
Were you and Alicia dating still?
I believe we were. I'm not too sure. I think we were.
All right, and then
she sent me a picture because, my sister had to get it out of her because all day I was with you, talking to you, why did you wait until we pulled out of your driveway to say, yes, Wendy, are you home yet so I can tell you something? She didn't want to tell me around nobody.
Okay.
So my sister was in the car, and my sister said, just tell us so we can get my sister checked out. And we named everything, and she finally said, yes, my sister has herpes. She sent us a notebook stating everything. I went to the hospital to get, checked out, and she's responsible for the hospital bill because she is supposed to tell you if you have herpes or any kind of disease, you're supposed to tell your partner.
So, this is kind of in the news. Is there a duty to disclose that you have herpes to a sexual partner, or is it just everybody takes their chances?
I think it is because you're affecting their health,
So you have a duty to disclose?
Yeah, I think it's a moral.
You duty to disclose?
Absolutely, yes. It comes down to trust, and the other person's health could be on the line for it.
Duty to disclose.
Yeah, I agree with her, what she said. You have to tell your partner everything.
Okay, the law is interesting in this area. Going inside the courtroom.
This is how this came about. I was having because I guess I'm a good listener. I just listen to people's issues and problems. She was calling me complaining about my sister, saying, my sister makes her so mad, my sister makes her this, and I do irrational things. And I said, okay, what's going on? What are you talking about? She says, I feel like she's cheating on me. She's doing this, she's doing that. And when I feel this way, I do irrational things. I said, like what?
Irrational things.
Sorry, irrational
That's okay.
things. And she says, like, she goes out and she'll do drugs, or she'll sell her pain meds, or she'll go
She'll sell her what?
Her pain meds, or she'll go prostitute. And I said, that's kind of odd to do. I said, why would you put yourself at risk for that?
Did you or did you not tell her she should get tested?
I did not. I said, if you feel that type of way and you feel these issues about my sister, then it's on you. You go get checked. I'm not telling you to do anything.
Okay, I'm dying to see $1,129 worth of hospital bills and back and forth over a simple herpes test. Can I see that? Where is that? Okay, no, I don't see that. I just see a bill to you for $806. So it is neither showing me that that was for this, nor is it showing me that that's the amount you're asking for. Do you have any other proof?
That's the only one I have.
Okay. How do I know that's not some other issue you went in there for?
They're sending me more bills.
Okay, well now, you pick when you go to court. You know, it's one thing when that side says, the dog ate my homework, but the plaintiff is the one who decides when they're gonna go to court. And going to court can't be timed around, hey, she stopped talking to me and I really wanna see her, so I'm gonna sue her. That's not how you decide to go to court. You get your ducks in a row first, and then you go to court. Plus, how would somebody else be responsible for your medical care?
Because, like my new girlfriend's saying, she's part of this.
A part of what? First of all,
she's part of this.
First of all, you don't have it, so I don't know what. But so that's like one, and two. I'm just having such difficulty with the truthfulness of the statement. I have $1,129 worth of hospitalization bills in and out. They kept making me come back over detecting herpes, because that's not how it works. So I don't think you're being truthful about that. And then what you do is you hand me just a hospital bill that just says your balance due and says nothing about what they're not your hospital records, and they're not the amount you're asking for. Put your hand down, you don't need to raise your hand again. Okay, based on what I've heard, regarding the telephone, it sounds like you've already won that case, and if you're not getting paid fully, because you thought you didn't have to pay her, you are now educated in the fact that you have to pay her. If you don't want to pay her the rest of that money, you best try to bring that case up in front of that judge and show up. Okay? Because otherwise, you got to pay $880, not $400 and something. But stop talking. That part is already taken care of and is not in front of me. As far as the chain and the TV is concerned, I find that the plaintiff, who has the burden of proving the case in court, it's basically she said on this, and she has a witness, that those were Christmas gifts and not something that had to be paid back. You would have to show me, if not, something in writing like a promissory note, which people don't get between, I understand that people don't always get that. Something, anything, to show that it's not just you mad that you now don't have contact. Something to show that those were supposed to be paid back. And you have nothing. And as far as the hospital bills are concerned, everyone, all the time, is responsible for their own checkups. And I hazard to say that this is not a bill for such a checkup. That's my verdict. Good luck, folks. All right.
So basically, the plaintiff has failed to prove her case. Wendy, the judge said you just didn't have the ammunition to prove her case, so that she could find in your favor.
Okay.
You understand?
Yes.
You're okay with it?
Yeah, I'm fine.
Are you still friends with her?
No, I don't want to either. I'm in a new relationship. I want no contact with her, nothing. I'm happy. I'm living my life.
Okay. Well, good luck.
Thank you.
The door is that way. Now here come Alicia and Kim. I guess you feel better about this, the outside of this case, the outcome anyway.
Yeah.
Well, you won,
Yeah.
Okay? But the telephone, that's still another problem. She may go back, You
She
may
can,
have
but
to.
I pay her for that.
Sorry about that. That's the way it is. Okay?
Yeah.
All right, thank you very much. Don't seem too upset, but anyway, that's it. Okay, Harvey?
So it is an evolving area of the law. And, you know, there are a lot of states that seem to be inclined to say that there is a duty to disclose, but there's also a body of law that there is, you know, an assumption of risk when you have sex with somebody. And, you know, 1 out of 6 people have herpes of some form. So this is still an area of the law that is really developing.
This is the plaintiff, Joseph Raffiti. He says he hired the defendant, a so-called matchmaker, to find him women to meet because he was new to the area. The defendant took his money all right, but never delivered on any viable women for him to date. He can't believe the defendant can actually go around claiming she's a matchmaker when in reality, she's nothing but a fraud. He's suing for $2,227, the amount he gave her. This is the defendant, Jacqueline Nichols. She says she set the plaintiff up with his very first woman, and the next morning she got an email from him stating that his blood was boiling. Huh? She was ready, willing, and able to match this man up on some compatible dates. He changed his mind about her services, and she's sorry. But in the matchmaking business, there are definitely no refunds. She's accused of looking for love in all the wrong places.
All parties, please raise your right hand.
What you are about to witness is real. The participants are not actors. They are actual litigants with a case pending in civil court. Both parties have agreed to drop their claims and have their cases settled here before Judge Marilyn Milian in our forum, the People's Court.
Be seated. Come to order, please. Litigants have been sworn, Your Honor.
Thank you, Doris. Okay, Joseph Raffiti?
Yes.
You are suing Intuitive Matchmaking, represented here by Jacqueline Nichols. You're the owner?
Yes, I am.
Okay. For $2,227 that you wish to have returned to you, which is the money that you paid them in order to find you a match, and you feel that they have breached that contract. Tell me what's going on. How did you first hear about them?
When I first moved to Oregon last August, I joined 2 matchmaking services, 2 free services. About 3 or 4 weeks after I joined her service, she started emailing me that I should upgrade to get better results. So,
Okay, and so she has a free service as well?
yes,
Okay, so that was one of the free services that you joined?
yes.
And you moved to Oregon from where?
Youngstown, Ohio.
Okay. And just out of curiosity, what brought you to Oregon?
The most beautiful woman in the world, Your Honor, my 6-year-old granddaughter.
Okay. I did not know that he had a 5x7 picture in his lapel. I just expected an answer.
I carry it everywhere.
Okay, well, good for you. All right, so go on. So what happens?
So she sent me several emails. It was going to cost me a couple $100 to come in and hear her sales pitch in her office, and I resisted. She reduced it to $27. So I said, what the heck, let me take a chance. I paid the $27 online. We met. She was a good salesman, so I listened to what she had to say, and I asked many questions. I had some concerns because on her free site, there were very few available women. And so I asked her, she said, I have many more that aren't available on the site, plus I am a professional matchmaker. So it sounded good. I paid her $2,200. Since I was new, I gave her my debit card. Since I was new, I didn't realize I only had a $1,000 limit through the debit. She called me the next day and said it didn't clear. So I met her again at Starbucks, and I gave her 22 Benjamins, $2,200 in cash.
Okay.
And for that...
That date was what? What date did you give her the 22 Benjamins?
22 Benjamins was 10/26 of 11.
Okay, so go on.
I immediately began emailing her. She would respond to those emails, but there was nothing going on.
Wait, she would respond, but there was nothing going on?
Right.
For how long?
Huh? For at least 2 weeks.
Okay.
You know, after 2 weeks, I'm starting to feel that she was playing me, because immediately after I gave her the 22 Benjamins, she said to me, tell you what, if you pay me a year in advance, I'll give you a hell of a discount. I said, what? You know, we haven't even gotten started yet.
What was that buying you? The $2,200 was buying you what?
Was her 90-day platinum service that she advertised on her website.
So that was just 90 days of matchmaking?
Right. She lists 9 things on her site.
Let me see what what you looked at before you decided to go ahead and do this. Is there a contract that you signed on that day at the Starbucks?
No, we never signed it.
Is there? You don't have a contract that your customer signed?
To add to it is there's an online contract that my lawyer had set up. They said it was better to do it online. In order to get into our system, you have to agree to our disclaimer, which it's in there.
Okay, but when in time does a person do that?
He filled out the form before meeting me.
So it's whatever he clicked online and saw the rules of, which are the same rules no matter whether you have a free service or a $2,200 service.
Exactly.
So there's no contract then, whether online or otherwise, there is no separate contract for the platinum service that you sold him?
No, just the receipt of him signing that.
Okay.
Yes.
All right. So obviously he relatively quickly got exasperated. So what do you think?
Actually, we had well over 50 emails between each other. He gave me a list of 8 women he was interested in. And so I followed up. You can probably pull up that email too of those. And we had ladies that I met with that he requested. 2 more, we were coordinating appointments to meet with them. His pictures weren't current on there. And
Tell me about that, the pictures.
The pictures was a big part because people want to see the current. They want to see exactly what they look like. And so we wanted to set that up.
A lot of people on these matchmaking services, I don't care how old you are or how young you are, a lot of people do what?
Yeah, they need honesty. They want to have it on there.
The people, they need honesty unless they're the ones who are projecting themselves.
Yeah.
Then they want dishonesty.
Yeah.
Then they want a picture from 20 years ago and they look really, different.
You'd be amazed at the stories that I hear. So as the representative for him, because I look at it as I'm their PR, I'm their cheerleader, I'm the person out there letting them know.
I got to say this because I have a good friend who is on a website, the single most popular matchmaking website. Start.com. And she's loving it. She's having a great time. It's like $75. Tell me what you do differently.
My big thing is the fact that I get to know my clients. I know them as a person, and I really know what they want. And therefore, when I match them with somebody, I'm matching them with another human. I'm not just saying, hey, have fun on that site. I do background checks. I coordinate dates. I often am there for the physical first introduction.
So how many matches do you make? How many clients do you have?
We were just trying to add that up. It literally grows daily, but we have well over 500 people that we actively work with.
But that are doing this kind of personal?
Probably, what did we come up? I think it's like 20. Yeah, we've got 20 at the top platinum because that's where they get my personal service. The lower levels, they can do their own searching. Like initially he was in there searching.
Like, for example, the ladies that you can look at don't necessarily have to be platinum.
No.
According to her, there was some time delay in you getting current pictures over.
First of all, the picture. I've used that picture on another website, have gotten fantastic results. In fact, I'm dating someone now. We've been dating for 4 or 5 months using that same picture.
But she said you should take current pictures, and then you went out and took current pictures.
Yeah, I went and got current pictures, exactly.
And then you sent them over.
Right.
And that process took how many weeks?
A couple weeks.
And then, according to her, she's responding to your emails. But according to you, you're not seeing a result. But what happened to make you say, that's it, I'm out? Because that happened rather quickly after you gave the $2,200, right?
Right. She was charging me.
How long were you in this process before you said, I want my money back?
Couple weeks.
Couple weeks. That's not like a long time, right?
No. But I calculate it was costing me $25 a day. And and in my opinion, she was stringing me along, burn up the 90 days, and come back for more money. She had asked me for more money the minute I gave her the $2,200. So I started to smell something fishy. I didn't feel there was any good faith there.
Why would it take 2 weeks of the 90 days?
It's just, some people said, I can't meet you till next week. I want to ask more questions. Or
Can I ask you something? Can you show me proof of that?
Yes, actually, we have quite a bit of emails. Pull up those. Yeah, we have extensive emails. I mean, I'm emailing at all hours on Sunday, and it was a constant. And then he sent me his pictures, and he said, upload my pictures.
And that was on what date?
That is right here. What's the date?
November
17th. So then I said to him, these are great pictures. We had developed a nice rapport again. We've been dialoguing. Everything's very
okay, but hold on 1 second. We must have missed something. When you say nice rapport again,
yes, because
he had a beef with you a couple days earlier.
Right, because he got one of my ladies, because it's a free site, they are able to come on and email each other. They can interact, not free in that in the sense it's free to communicate once they're approved. So one of the ladies, she emailed him, and we went from nice little emails, he and I chatting it up, being fine, to the next morning saying he's outraged and wants his money back, and that was not even 2 weeks.
And his blood was boiling.
His blood was boiling.
Because what?
In 13 days of being in my system, one very nice lady, I have the email here to show, she just wrote a nice email.
But why was his blood boiling?
Because all of a sudden he just decided that I can't do my job. Because
But why? What did he say?
It's in there. He just immediately just went.
Is this the email from her to him or the email from him to you?
From her to him.
May
just
I see the email? Did he call you or send an email?
He sent me an email saying
Can I
he
see
was
that
upset
email
about
as
the
well?
Yes.
Hi, Joe. Jacqueline asked me to contact you. I am pleased to do so. I like that you said you were optimistic, virtuous, and ambitious. She also said you were kind, caring, family-focused. Any person who has moved to be near his 6-year-old grandchild is of interest to me. Okay. What was...
So she sent this email to him, and then the highlighted part is how he responded to me when he got this email.
I am outraged. In fact, I've been up all night and my blood pressure is sky high. I feel you have been playing me. After being interviewed by you and answering all your questions, I gave you a very specific set of criteria to work with. I believe you knew from the beginning you could not live up to your promises, and I demand a full refund. What was wrong? What was wrong?
That was a woman who was on her free site. I didn't pay her $2,200.
She's a platinum client. That's a platinum client. They're all,
I didn't pay.
Hold on, I'm asking him now.
She told me that she would introduce me
Right.
to
So
these
what bothered
women.
you about this woman is that was not the personal service to you, but this was somebody
Right,
who...
exactly.
All right, so now you're back to a good rapport. He
Right, so
sends you the
then
picture,
after that,
upload the
we
picture,
talked
and then
through.
you're surprised to get a complaint.
Right, the very next morning, I'm excited, he's got great pictures, wonderful photographer. The next email says, yes, upload the pictures, update my profile, and then not even more than 10 minutes later, I get an email from the Better Business Bureau saying he's complaining about me. And so I'm like, I immediately put him on hold because I don't want to lose
What's
any.
put him on hold? The
Meaning,
Better Business Bureau?
stop it where he doesn't have access to the site.
Him?
Him.
You put
Because
his
I
membership on hold?
Yes, I put him on
Suspended.
hold. I
She
suspended him.
suspended you?
Yes.
She blackballed you?
That's what it
Yes.
says right here. It says I'm suspended.
You've got to be
Yep.
quite the cowboy
I'm
to get suspended
I'm
from a...
suspended.
Absolutely.
Why did you
Because
suspend him?
I suspended him because he had then gone to the Better Business Bureau complaining, and I knew that if I let any time where we're debating with Better Business Bureau and he's on dates and he's focused on that when we're trying to resolve things, my attitude was stop and pause, as I was, legal counsel had said to do, so he wouldn't lose any time. So we just restart him once it was resolved.
Wait. You can tell me till the cows come home that you did it for his benefit, but you never called him and said, listen, we're having this dispute, or emailed him and said, I suggest that while we're resolving this dispute, let's suspend your membership. Would you like to do that? You didn't do that. You just suspended his membership because you were angry because you got a complaint from the Better Business Bureau, which is a little thin-skinned on your part.
I did it to protect the company. I didn't want him on there complaining to everybody. We later got emails from people saying he went and
If we're going to be
complained
honest, that's really why you
directors.
suspended his membership. You needed it.
I didn't want anybody harassing anybody.
He's like a poison at this point, and you don't want him poisoning the well, and I understand that, but it's not for his protection. And when you do that, now what do I do? Because I think it's a little impatient, too. I'm with you.
Right.
I think this stuff takes a little time. I don't know how much time. I wouldn't
was
hand you
working hard. I was having a good
$2,200.
time.
He may have just found somebody on one of the other websites, apparently.
Well, and he went on a date with a photographer right after.
With what? The photographer took the pictures?
He took pictures on Thursday, went on a date with her.
Did you really?
And then that
Yes, I
moment,
did.
Oh, my gosh,
he
you were
cancels me.
just delicious. Honest to God.
And welcome back to the People's Court. Harvey Levin here. Do you think these matchmaking services work?
No, not at all.
Why?
Because you can't just pick, choose someone without a computer. You have to go over time.
You can't do it in a computer.
Yeah.
Could you do it just by knowing interests and almost scientifically figuring it out?
Maybe. I mean, if your possible mate is exactly like you, but
what do you, do they work?
I believe not.
Would you pay $2,200?
Well, I want to pay $2,200.
No, the answer is no. There you go. Going inside the courtroom.
You went out with her. You don't need her. That's what happened. You finally realized, oh, why did I give her $2,200? I can do this act alone. Oh my goodness. But I got to ask myself, did he breach by filing a complaint to the Better Business Bureau? Or did you breach by being so thin-skinned and suspending him after that? And so I have to look at his conduct and see what he did that would make it right for you to cut him off. And the only thing he did was file a complaint to the Better Business Bureau. And that's free speech. And that he has a right to do that. Mm-hmm. And you have to have thicker skin as a businesswoman and work through the problem.
You can't just pull away the product and expect that a court of law is not going to order you to then refund his money. I'm not going to order you to refund the consultation fee. He had his consultation. I am going to order you to refund the $2,200 verdict for the plaintiff.
Thank you.
Good luck. And please be clear, I would never have done this if it weren't for the fact that you suspended his membership.
Okay.
Okay, good luck,
That makes
everybody.
So the matchmaker comes out of the courtroom. We'll find out if you've learned a lesson.
I protect my ladies, so I'm actually proud that I made it so that they would feel safe, and then we would resolve this on our own in a private matter.
Even though suspending his membership cost you the decision in this case?
The protection of my people is what matters the
Well,
most.
if you had to do the same thing in the same situation again, would you do anything differently?
I would probably hope to have a better selection process.
All right. Head right around the corner here. All right, so come on out here, and you have that picture with you still? All right, come on in here. How you feel about the outcome of this case?
Oh, I'm elated. You know, the justice system works. A business like that should not be around.
So have things worked out? Are you going out with some nice ladies?
Yeah, I did meet a nice lady.
Things are working out okay?
Yes.
All right. Harvey?
Okay, bottom line here is you cannot terminate a contract unless there is a material breach, something really serious. And the plaintiff didn't violate the contract by simply calling the Better Business Bureau, period.
This is the plaintiff, Thomas Ellsbury. He says he met the defendant at a singles club. They hit it off and immediately began dating. They even started a business together, buying and fixing up houses and then selling them. One thing led to another. Things didn't exactly work out, so they parted ways. But the defendant still owes him money for all the work he did. He now thinks he's been had and is suing the Dragon Lady for $10,000, the amount he's owed. This is the defendant, Kathleen Doofer. She says the plaintiff fell in love with her, came over to her house every day and just started fixing things up. She didn't ask him to do any of it. He just started doing it. He even patched her leaky roof, which, by the way, still leaks more than it ever did. Bottom line, she doesn't know why this guy thinks he's entitled to 10 grand from her, but hey, it's a free country. She's accused of taking advantage of a lover.
All parties, please raise your right hand. Seated, come to order, please. Litigants have been sworn, Your Honor.
Thank you, Douglas.
You're welcome, ma'am.
Okay, Thomas Ellsbury,
That's
you
me,
are suing
Your Honor.
Kathleen, how do I pronounce your last name?
Doofer.
Doofer. Kathleen Doofer for $10,000 that you say she owes you in renovations that you did to some properties that she owns, or some mobile homes, I guess, that she owns, and that she has not paid you for. Now, as I understand it, you two were dating?
That's correct. We were more than dating. We were cohabitating together.
Okay. And then how did you meet the defendant?
Well, I was all alone there, and I checked up, and they had a singles club, the Slopes and Trails Singles Club in Southwest Oregon. So I called them up, and they told me where they were having their Friday meeting. And I met all the people in Trails and Slopes, and they found out that I liked to dance. And so on Friday night, they go to the Eagles Club to go dancing. So they took me in to go dancing at the Eagles Club.
Okay. Is this a senior singles club?
No, it's for
20-year-olds?
all ages.
20-year-olds and 30-year-olds are there?
Yeah, right.
All the way up to your age? No, I mean, you're very young, don't get me wrong. I'm just trying to figure this out, like what we're talking about
No,
here.
it's the Southwest Oregon Singles Club, Trails and Slopes.
So it's people
They
who
got
are
one of the biggest
interested
singles
in
clubs.
trails and slopes? What?
That's the name of it.
That's just the name of it. It has nothing to do with it. Okay.
And there's
All right,
over-
so how'd you meet the defendant?
Well, anyway, we're walking in. I'm following these young ladies. They wanted to dance with me. They found I like to dance. And they make a left turn. And I'm looking, and there's Kathleen sitting there. And wow. And they strike up a fast two-step. And I leave my new friends. I go over and ask her to dance. And we go out and dance. Now, I didn't ignore them girls over there.
Okay, but I don't need this kind of detail. So you met her, and the two of you start to go out?
Almost immediately.
All right. Now, you own a mobile home at a mobile home park.
I live in it.
All right. Now, so when you meet him, he starts to do work on one of your mobile homes, correct?
In time, he was looking for work. He He said he was picking turnips. Okay, this is the Eagles Club where I was, and he came in with another group.
What is the Eagles Club?
It's a senior.
Oh, it is a senior thing. Okay, I knew I'd gotten that from somewhere. Okay, all right.
It's like the Elks Club.
Okay.
Moose Club.
So he taught, well, not that night, but another night, I talked to him several times, weekends. I always went on Sunday, and I met him on Friday.
Did you guys date? Or is that just in his head? You dated him, right?
Well, I thought we were dating.
Okay, all right. And how long did you date, according to you?
Well, I met him in February, and our altercation was the beginning of September.
Okay, so a bit. All right. Now, so you dating, everything's going well, but you're not living together between February and September, correct?
No, we moved in together.
When did you move in together?
As near as I can tell, it was long about June.
All right, and until when did you live together in the same room?
We lived together until the altercation.
And what was, okay, now between February when you met and you're dating and the altercation, tell me what kind of work you did on her mobile homes.
Oh, I completely redid them.
Why?
They were falling down pieces. They were deteriorating.
But why did you redo them?
Because on our second or third date, we started to talk to each other, and she's had the same past as I've had. She's been in the construction business, housing, running shops, running different businesses just like I have all my life, and we had everything in common. I mean, it was unbelievable. I could not believe it. We led parallel lives, and we did the same things together, and the more I talked and the more, I just got more attracted to her all the time. I thought, wow, this woman is perfect for me. She's perfect, we just had everything going for each other. And so she came to me. It wasn't me. I didn't go to her when she found out that I was a general contractor and I did that kind of work. And she came and she said, well, I could use you. She said, my house needs fixed, And then we went around trying to buy all kind of properties to fix up and sell. We were going to go in the remodeling business together.
Okay, did you buy a property together?
Yes, we did.
What property did you buy together?
I didn't pay for it. She paid for it.
Oh, that's not buying a property together.
Well, yeah, but my
that's the girl you're dating
was,
bought a property. That's not the same.
No, she bought it and I did all the work on it.
Okay.
We shared equal.
Well, no, that's not share equal.
She only paid $7,000 for it.
How many? And how much of that did you pay? Only zero.
I contributed quite
Only
a bit.
zero. You did construction work on it, right?
Well, no. She never paid me a cent for gasoline.
Okay, let's talk about that. So, but do you have an invoice that you submitted to her before the altercation?
She did the paperwork. I handed them to her.
Okay, did she ever pay you?
I got a letter from
you started work in February when you guys met? You started doing work for her?
Toward the end of February, I think.
Okay, towards the end of February, so the same March.
Her drain was clogged up. Clogged up for 4 years or 3 years. She had dirt coming up in her kitchen drain. She could not use it.
Okay.
I took several hours and I got it fixed.
Right, but here's what's going on now, Mr. Ellsbury. You are asking to be paid $8.50 an hour for 542 hours of working on. Right. So I need to try to figure out and flesh out, was there an agreement to pay you $8.50 an hour? Were you a good boyfriend? So you were a good boyfriend, but you feel like you've enriched. It's unfair because you've enriched those.
We went into business together. We had a verbal contract.
So you didn't do it because you were a good boyfriend. You did it because you expected to be paid.
I expected remuneration down the line. We were going to reinvest the money in another house and reinvest it in another house and reinvest. The economy is bad, and you had all these fixer-uppers there.
Right.
I specialized in remodeling in my contracting business.
Okay.
And we were going to take the money from the one and buy another one, take the money from one and buy another one.
As it turns out, while you're dating, you do buy one mobile home, right?
We were going to sell the one I lived in. I needed a place to go.
Okay. So whose we were going to sell? He doesn't own the one you lived in. When you say we, who do you mean?
Well, I got caught up in this we stuff. I've never had a soulmate.
Wait, say that again? I got caught up in this what?
Got up in the we.
In the we thing?
We stuff.
Okay. You liked him, right?
I did. He's interesting, different, interesting.
Right. So what happened? What was the altercation? Who wants to tell me first? You're the plaintiff. Why don't you tell me what the altercation is?
Well, I went to the dental. I had surgery on my mouth. And I went back to the dentist the next day to check up on my surgery. And I got back to the property, and all my stuff was sitting in the driveway.
Okay, now this is not the place you're living in, but another place?
Right, that's the one we bought. That's the second one we bought.
Okay. This is the second
But
one that
we
she
made
bought.
we made
Did you
agreement.
live in that one, or did you live in the one she had been living in?
I mostly lived in the one she had been living in.
Okay. But why were you now then living in the one she bought?
Because there was a bunch of young people lived in the one next door, and I wasn't sleeping at night. They played guitars all night long.
Okay.
And it's rumored that they were into drugs and stuff, and they scream and yell, people coming.
But why didn't she go with you?
She didn't want to. She
Okay.
told me to
So
go.
you come home from the follow-up of your dental work, and then you see your stuff is all on the lawn? How does it work?
But yeah, I
And what do
come
you say?
driving
This
up.
is all a surprise to you. She never called you to say you need to go, or
No.
anything else. So
we had an agreement the night before. The day before that, before I went to dental surgery, she said that she was selling the place. And she never even put it up for sale. She never advertised
so
it or
she had
anything.
told you that she had sold the place?
No, she's telling me she was going to sell it. And so we had a discussion. I said, please, Kathy, I said, let's at least put it on the market. I said, how can we sell it if we don't even put it on the market?
What's all this we stuff? Okay, well, how can we sell if we don't put it on the market?
We were
all right.
partners.
Well, you did. How much did you pay again for that mobile home?
I paid a couple grand for my gas in 8 months. I paid for different things I bought and
All
never
right, so
charged
you tell
for.
her that. What did you expect to gain from the sale of that mobile home?
I thought we were going to get money to reinvest in another business, another house.
So what did you expect to get from the sale? A 50% ownership, a 50% ownership over the funds of the sale of a house that you didn't pay for?
50-50 on the profit.
50-50. So she buys it for how much?
$7 grand.
$7 grand. You put 0 pennies into that $7 grand, but you put sweat, labor, sweat equity
And gasoline.
into. Okay. Did you agree to give him 50% of the profits on the sale of that place if he worked on it? I can't hear your answer.
No.
Okay. Did you ever agree to pay him for any of the fixer-uppering that he was doing on
I thought he was being kind to me. Like I was cooking him dinner every night, and the sink still doesn't drain good. It's that 1980s plastic pipe that I believe that's what's wrong with it. So when it rains or, the sinks don't work good. But anyway, I was cooking him dinner, so he plunged it, and I thought, this is wonderful. My sink works.
Right.
But he was sitting there watching me cook dinner for him.
Right.
When he plunged the sink. And I thought, what a nice man.
Okay.
I didn't know I had to pay him.
How did it turn out that his stuff just ended up on the lawn? What happened there?
Oh, you mean at the end of?
Yeah, the end, the altercation.
Okay, he wanted to be a soulmate. So I never had a soulmate before, and I thought, okay, well, I really tried to get along. I'm an old lady, it's hard to learn new tricks. So his things, when I sold the place, I still thought, well, we were not living together, but he had things at my house. So I boxed up his stuff. He was camped in that other trailer, and we were surprised how he was all through it. It was a linked living room, running back to a bedroom.
Well, how was he able to get in there to begin with?
We had keys and stuff. He was working on it.
Right.
But, so I was going to take that stuff back to my house. I expected him back over there, but he was mad. He never talked to me after that.
Really? So you weren't breaking up with him when the stuff was on the lawn. That was just, like if he had taken a little longer at the doctor's office, that stuff would have already been in the first trailer? Did you talk to him the day before about selling the second one?
We were arguing over it.
Arguing about it because he didn't want you to sell. He wanted you to put it on the market. You ended up selling it to a friend of hers, right?
I panicked because he was ripping it apart. He was doing things on it that I didn't want. I had planned to move in there, sell the one I was in, and move in it. And he ripped out everything and built weird.
What did he rip out?
All the living, breathing plants, all the pretty ivies and
that wasn't at your direction?
No, I didn't want it. And so we were arguing. We started arguing.
Okay.
I wanted him to stop, but he's building these things that look like a Mayan, I don't know, altars, I don't know, big cement or rock things in the backyard. So I said, stop doing this. And he's, well, I got to keep busy. So I says, go work in your daughter. Why don't you go work in your daughter's backyard? She lives in San Diego. I said, why don't you go work in her backyard? He says, she won't let me.
Welcome back to the People's Court. Harvey Levin here. So do you believe this guy really had a deal with her going in that she was going to pay him?
No way, no way. He did it for free. He did it for free.
Did he do it for love?
Yes, he thought he was in love with her.
Well, he was in love with her, and it just changed.
In love with her.
Yeah, really. So is there any possibility that this guy made a deal with her up front and said, oh, honey, you just have to pay me for this?
No, not at all. I don't think so.
It just ain't the way love works.
No.
Got your point. Going inside the courtroom.
So the question is, what are you going to be able to prove about what this agreement was? Because, there could be an agreement between two people that somehow is going to mean 50-50, or maybe it's going to mean 20-80. It could mean something, but I'd have to have that agreement. I have her look at me right in the eye and saying, he was a guy I liked, he was hanging around, and he was doing stuff, and when he started doing more than what I was authorizing, I got a little nervous. That's what I've got from her. And from you, I did all this stuff, and we were going to show. I asked you a very important question. I asked you, why were you doing the work? And if there's some agreement to pay you, I expect an answer like, because she told me she'd pay me $8.50 an hour, or because I was going to make 50%, because she agreed that when she sold it, I would get 50% of the purchase price, even though I didn't put any money down. Let me read to you what your answer was. Because on the second or third date, I realized we had the same past. We had everything in common. We had led parallel lives. I was more attracted to her all the time. That's what you said when I asked you, why are you doing this work? What that indicates to me is a man who is seeing that she is going to be his soulmate and she's going to be his life, and you're hoping that as couples who are sharing a life together do, that you will share a life together. You will share the good, the bad, and the ugly, and that also means the profits. That is not the same as having a contract under which you need to be paid $10,000 now. It's different. Do you have any way to prove to me that you're supposed to make 50% of, which also wouldn't be $10,000, but 50% of the profits of this other place that you didn't put any money in?
You're asking an impossible question to answer, because it's between me and her. It was, I said, she said, I said. I mean, how can I answer that question? No, I was in love. I didn't ask for a written contract. We had made an agreement that we were going to work together.
Are you still in love with her?
Kinda.
I know.
I have a comment.
I have a question. Are you still in love with him?
No. I mean, I was trying to be a soulmate. No.
You think a soulmate's different than being in love?
I think a soulmate is, see, he already had two before he invited me to be a soulmate. And I think a soulmate.
Okay, we clearly have a different definition of what soulmate means. Go ahead.
Yeah, I think a soulmate is
a companion?
All the way. Through eternity, or, you're very compatible with.
Okay.
And you shouldn't have to try to be a soulmate. I have no idea the definition of a soulmate. This isn't it.
But you were surprised when he wouldn't talk to you anymore. You wrote him a letter, sort of a love letter.
Yeah.
And you said to him,
I was amazed.
I'm so sorry things ended up this way. I don't know why you won't talk to me. And then...
But see, he didn't live with me.
You guys are really hung up on that. The rest of us aren't.
Oh, okay.
Okay. So, you guys wrote each other a couple letters, and then it just sort of descended into a lawsuit, I guess.
Did I say something on that?
Yeah.
I appreciate it. I was ordered to stay out by the police. I was ordered to have no contact with her.
When? That day?
When I went to get my stuff back from her house, and they give me 10 minutes to grab the stuff.
Is she there?
She was there. She didn't even look at me.
Did you say anything to each other?
She never even looked at me. She turned around and walked back in the house.
The police told me to stay away.
So who are there's no restraining order, there's no stay away order, just the police said to you, it's best if you not come here anymore?
The police said not for me to show my face there again.
He called the police.
I did call.
On the neighbors?
Me.
On you?
I think on me. Yeah, he called the police. I didn't. He could have had his things any time.
Did you ever agree to pay him $8.50 an hour?
No.
Did you ever agree to share the profits of the place upon a sale with him?
No. Well, the first one when I first met him, I put a for sale sign on it.
Right.
Nobody bought it, so there.
Right. Well, let's say somebody bought it. Let's say I offered you $10,000 from that place. Were you going to hand him money from the sale of your mobile home?
No, I thought we were going to ride off into the sunset as soulmates. I guess I'm stuck on that. I thought he liked me.
So you thought he was doing it because he liked you?
Yeah.
Yeah, Mr. Ellsbury, I can't under these circumstances find there to be a contractual obligation to pay you $8.50 an hour. This is the kind of thing people should be really, really careful of, and everybody should have the same expectations. I don't mean to suck the romance out of romance, but if you're doing it for romance, then it's free and you're keeping yourself busy. And if you're doing it because you expect remuneration, then you should get it in writing and have some form of a way to prove it, and not for the first time, ever expect payment only when things don't work out. Good luck to both of you. My verdict is for the defendant.
All right, let's see what the plaintiff has to say coming out with empty hands here after suing her for that much money. What's your reaction to this?
Like I said, I've been a contractor all my life. I never had a written contract. It's always been verbal.
Listen, is this your way of trying to stay close to her still? Because you say you still love her, right?
Love doesn't die in an instant, but I think this love is going to die. I hope so.
Okay. All right, right down around the corner. All right, so come on out here and step on in here. And what was that like for you to be in the courtroom looking at him across there? You know how he feels about you. You step up. You know how he still feels about you, right there.
Oh, I don't know, because I asked the policeman, he called on me, if I should be afraid, and they told me no.
Are you glad to have him out of your hair?
Well, I would like to have him out of my hair. I hope.
You want to have nothing to do with him?
That's right.
Harvey?
You know, I guess it's kind of a cardinal rule that if, for whatever reason, you're involved with somebody and money changes hands where you give them some money, but you expect to get paid back, that's probably a case where you got to figure out, even in a confirming email, how to memorialize it, because it's gonna look like a gift.
This is the plaintiff, Tiana Cassiano. She says she and the defendant were in a relationship, and she paid for an iPhone, gave her a promise ring, and a short time later, they broke up. The defendant said she would return the iPhone and ring to her, but hasn't, and so she's suing her for the $713 she's owed. This is the defendant, Jennifer. She says the plaintiff bought her all sorts of gifts during their relationship, and the only reason she's suing for them back now is because they aren't together. The girl's just scorned and bitter, and there really isn't even a case here. She's accused of letting a lover down. The defendant has filed a countersuit for $520 for a deposit on a promise ring, unpaid iPhone service, and defamation.
All parties, please raise your right hand.
What you are about to witness is real. The participants are not actors. They are actual litigants with a case pending in civil court. Both parties have agreed to drop their claims and have their cases settled here before Judge Marilyn Milian in our forum, the People's Court.
Be seated. Come to order, please. Litigants have been sworn, Your Honor.
Thank you, Douglas.
You're welcome, ma'am.
Tiana Cassiano?
Yes.
You are suing Jennifer. You've asked us not to mention your last name for $713 that you say she owes you for an iPhone, a promise ring, and defamation of character. You're counterclaiming against her $520 for the return of a down payment you made for the promise ring and for defamation of character. What's going on?
Well, me and the defendant were in a relationship for about 9 months, and during that time, her phone was periodically on and off because she had no money to pay for the bill, and she didn't have any credit. So I stepped up and it was like, I will purchase you an iPhone. But we had an agreement that the iPhone would be used for my stepbrother. Like, she wouldn't be able to keep the whole iPhone. The iPhone wasn't for her to keep.
Okay, it was just for her to use as long as you guys were dating?
Yeah, because she needed to get back on her feet, because at the time she had no job. She had no money, no income coming in. So she basically didn't have anything to even have a phone or even like pay the bill or anything like that. So I purchased the iPhone, but it wasn't for her to keep. When the relationship...
But how's that going to help her get on her feet just to have a more expensive phone? I'm not understanding. Why did you just use that money to loan her to pay bills or something?
It wasn't. It was for her to use the phone to keep in contact with me, because
I find that there's usually strings attached to such a thing. And the such a thing is that you wanted her to keep in contact with you, because what was wrong with the other phone? She couldn't keep in contact with you that way?
Well, the phone was always being disconnected, and I put the phone that I had purchased, I put it under my name. So
I know that the phone was not going to be disconnected.
Well, that and you have access to every phone call she makes.
Yes, and I know. And
so now you know every single. Well, what do you think? When someone buys you a phone that's under their name, not at your request, but at their insistence, what do you think they are doing other than stalking you and trying to make sure they know your every move?
Thank you.
Well, thank you. I didn't take that phone. Don't thank me. I mean, you're the one who took it. I don't know why you'd be surprised. So go ahead.
So when the relationship was over, I asked for the phone back, but she would not.
How did the relationship become over?
Because I was just tired of always being there for her, and she would never do the same. And I was just bored of the relationship. Like, it wasn't going
You were
anywhere.
bored of the relationship?
Yeah, it wasn't.
Because I've read your crazy text.
It's
You don't
fine,
sound
but-
bored of the relationship. You sound upset that she's dumping you.
No, I was bored of it.
Was she bored of the relationship?
No.
What
she
happened?
definitely was not.
How did you two break up?
Well, I mean, her and I did date, as she did mention, and while we were dating, I clearly made to her, clear enough to her that I was bisexual. I have 2 kids. She was aware of it possibly every single day. Any little thing she did, anything as far as gifts, which I do have here, this is not the only thing she's bought.
Okay, sorry. She was okay. She was aware I was bisexual.
Right,
and
she was
what?
aware of it.
that?
So what it is just that we mutually separated in our own ways. It had nothing to do with no boredom.
I'm not understanding what you're saying because it sort of implies I'm not going to be faithful. Is that what you mean?
Right. So I mean, in the beginning, her knowing that alone, she should have known what it was.
No, I don't know what it was.
No, of course I know
what
you don't.
bisexual means.
Right.
I just don't understand what you mean when you say I told you 100 times I was bisexual. Apparently, you don't just mean that you like men and women. You also mean I have no intention of being faithful to you. That you mean both things.
She was aware of that, correct.
And she was aware of you. Okay, so is that why you guys broke up?
Yes, more so, yes. When we ended up breaking up, it was because the pictures of her casually going out doing her own thing, of course, and me having to find someone else. So that's why we broke up, because I actually ended up dating a man. That's where she had the problem.
All right. So you guys break up and you tell her I want the iPhone back.
Yeah, and she would not give me the iPhone.
You're also suing her for a promise ring.
Yes, which I also have receipt.
Tell me about that.
Receipt. Well, I purchased her the promise ring, and we both actually have purchased each other promise rings. And she was blowing up my phone because she wanted it back because she couldn't pay her light bill. She wanted to have that back. So I was like, fine.
Wanted to have which ring back?
The ring that she had purchased for me. She wanted it back. So I'm like, okay, I don't have a problem with it. I'll give you the ring back. If we're not in a relationship,
I do.
If we're not in a
Can I see a
relationship,
picture of the
then
ring?
she can have the ring back.
What is a promise ring?
It means that
you promise what? The next 10 minutes?
That you're not gonna be that you're not gonna be cheating on each other.
That definitely was not the promise.
What is a promise ring? It's like a high school thing. For the love of God,
Right.
It's like, all right. So what is the promise ring?
She obviously had with the promise ring, I'm trying to prove to her was either way, whether we're together or we're not, I just wanted to promise to her that I would be in her life no matter how it is. So with the promise ring, we did just to do.
That's what the promise ring is?
That was what we did, my promise to her, because it wasn't to marry her or to be engaged or to be her girlfriend. Because even in the parking lot before she went and put the money down, I let her know, we're not together.
We're not together
We're
at
not
all?
together. This is not going to change. So she was very much aware of it before she got in there.
That's what she says.
Another thing as well that I wanted to also mention as far as with the cell phone. The other phone, she keeps mentioning about that it was disconnected. No, my phone would die every hour, every 2 hours because the battery was ridiculous.
Were you supposed to return the iPhone?
No, it was a gift.
Okay, and according to you, she would give you lots of gifts.
Right, I actually have several items. Starting here with iPad.
Did you give her an iPad?
Yes, I did.
Okay. Was that a gift?
That was a gift.
The iPhone was
Watches. Beats by J's. I didn't bring the whole kit, but makeup, plenty of it, which she's gotten. So all these gifts she's bought on her own. And it wasn't something I said, okay, you're going to buy me an iPad, I'm going to pay you back for it. No, never did. Same thing with the phone as far as the iPhone.
Do you have any texts between the two of you regarding the iPhone?
Yes, I do.
You want her to return the promise ring. You returned yours to her, but at the time you didn't ask her for yours back?
I asked her plenty of times. She would not give it back to me.
Why would you return the one from you to her without her returning the one from her
because
to you?
Because she kept harassing me for the harassing. She came ringing on my doorbell like a maniac. And I gave it back to her.
So you got it. Okay, you give me yours, I'll give you mine. What's so hard about that?
She didn't want to do it.
The reason why she gave me back her ring was because she thought it would cover the cost of the $240 that I put down on this ring. Meaning she thought that the one ring she gave me would cover what she owed for me for that, which is not the case because I put down.
You put down $240 on the ring that she gave you?
$240 on this ring that I have.
Is that the ring that she gave you?
Yes. This is a ring that I put $240 on. Plus, I bought her ring, which would come out to about $150, maybe $200. So her assumption in her head is, I'm going to give you back
your ring was
this.
worth how much?
Mine was $600.
And hers was worth 100 and some?
About 200.
Okay. Go on.
So with that being said, she was under the assumption, I'm going to give you back your ring. That's going to cover what I owe you.
Why was she under that assumption?
Because she thought that she didn't want to pay the $240.
Okay, and then when she told you that, you took the ring.
Well, I'm going to take it back if she gives it to me.
Okay, but then why are you also then suing for the $240 in your counterclaim?
Because this is my ring that she owes me for, which I paid
No, I understand that, but you took the other ring.
That wasn't an exchange
Where
for
does it?
$240.
But where is that accounted for at all in your counterclaim?
What do you mean?
It's not, right? Like you got a ring back. What right do you have to have that ring back? That ring is worth something, and is that deducted anywhere in your counterclaim?
No,
the answer to
not at
that
all.
is no.
No.
Tell me about each of your defamation of character claims.
Oh, because she would stalk my Instagram, stalk it, basically
Tell us
comments.
what Instagram is.
It's a website you post pictures on, people comment on, like it.
So what does she do? What are you suing for?
Well, she would just basically go on there and harass me. Any picture that I would put, she would basically have an input on every picture that was on there.
Is that the basis of your defamation case? What would she defame you with? What did she say?
Well, I don't have any evidence here with me of the pictures.
Now, on your counterclaim against her, you have a $280 defamation of character claim. That is for what?
Well, actually, I have evidence here of what she's wrote, as well as her little friend, what she did on her half as well. Basically, just the name calling,
Let me see.
which I have here.
Do you also have some text you wanted to show me?
Yes, I'm trying to. This text actually is in reference to the iPhone, how it's actually a gift, because I know on the paper she explains that it was lent.
Pirate alert. What you wear the patch? Why?
Because I was in a car accident 3 years ago.
Okay, and how does and
actually shattered my orbit, the orbit structure.
Okay, pirate alert. If you ever see this thing that's stock on the street, please call animal control. Her and the burnt charcoal that she has as a man. Laugh
That's actually
out
someone I
loud.
was dating.
Thanks. What is the word after that? What does that mean? I know what the word is. But what is it? What does that phrase mean?
I don't know. You'd have to ask a friend. That's
What
a
is
friend
that?
did that.
What is that? Who posted that one? Stand up, please.
I did. Which who
Wait,
has no
did?
clue about
You
this
did?
case.
What does made mean?
It means, excuse my French, but you're.
Okay, because it seems like you're making a reference to her dating
Someone
somebody
who's
who's African American.
dark-skinned, exactly.
Yeah,
Is that
simply
it?
because
Is that the deal? Is that your man?
Yes.
Simply because she always had a problem. She would go on my Instagram as well as Tiana's Instagram, stealing our
are you to
pictures.
her?
I'm her current girlfriend. And she would steal our pictures, put it on her Instagram,
How?
and say, "Oh, just because it didn't happen, it's not. It
proof
doesn't
of that?
mean just because
When
it's
did
not
you
there."
two start dating?
In
While
the
she was
beginning
still
of
dating me.
When did you
No,
two start dating?
No, they were
Just
not
answer my
dating
question. Don't
anymore.
answer her.
April, the beginning of April.
Welcome back to the People's Court. Harvey Levin here. Is it less likely that somebody can be faithful in a relationship if they're bisexual?
I think anybody can be faithful as long as they're in a committed relationship and they respect their partner.
Fair enough. What do you think?
I agree with that 1,000%. I think your sexual preference has nothing to do with what kind of commitment you can make.
Fair enough. You're the last comment.
I think that they can be faithful.
But not, I guess what I'm saying, is it more likely if they're bisexual that they're not going to be faithful?
No, not at all.
Okay. Going inside the courtroom.
I had nothing to do with their relationship or the reason that they broke up. I came in after, and she still had a problem with me. So I decided to do the same thing and to include her boyfriend in it, as well as she's including me in something that has nothing to do with me.
God, you people got a lot of time on your hands.
No, she
Honest to
had
God.
extra
No, all of you
time
do.
on
You
her
really do.
hands.
You have a lot of
I
time
don't
on
have
your
any
hands.
evidence of me doing any of that. I didn't bring that because I thought it was ridiculous.
Show me the text. While you're looking for that, there's a series of texts back and forth from you two, where you say, if I made you happy, why couldn't you keep me? You needed to have a blanking man right now, knowing that I still have blanking feelings for you. I was crying for you. She told me it would get better. I can't believe you. When I think of you, my stomach turns in knots. I want to get you an iPhone. I gave it to my coworker, the one who is giving me the carb.
No, that's actually a case that she had bought for me in advance before we got the iPhone, which she gave to a coworker
Kat.
because I didn't get it yet.
You say, damn, couldn't wait to get rid of it, huh? She says, no love, sorry I'm late. You get an iPhone, I'll buy you whatever case you want. You know that. Me, are you still thinking about it? Tiana, I want to get it for you. Me, I don't know. What about that?
We had an agreement. Just it wasn't in text. We had an agreement that I would be getting her the iPhone.
I know, but your texts sound like you're buying her a
wouldn't-
gift, just like all the other gifts. Your texts don't sound like she's supposed to
But
pay
Your
you
Honor,
back
then
or
I would
return
be
it.
over here suing her for all the other gifts that I have. I don't want them.
I
You
understand
you
that.
Understand?
But maybe there's something special about the phone.
No.
I don't mean that the phone's special, but that you just don't want her to possess it.
Your Honor, I had to open a contract under Sprint, which is not a contract. I'm under Verizon.
I understand that, but that makes it, see, I wouldn't do any of that, but you did. So the question is, did you do so as a gift because you really like her and you wanted to keep her, or did you do that as something that she has to pay back? So that's why I'm looking here and I'm seeing things like, all right, what should I look at? I've got you giving her back a diamond ring after the breakup when she supposedly owes you a phone and a diamond ring, according to you, because that's what you're suing for. Yes. That's odd already. Okay, I've got you, after you're giving her a diamond ring back, still sort of pining for her and wanting to get back together, despite the fact that she's moved on and she's with a man. Yes. I've got you telling her in a text, I want to buy you the phone. I'll buy you any case you want. That doesn't sound like somebody who is just loaning somebody a phone and has to return it. I don't see that in there.
I understand, Your Honor.
You know what? Both of you need to go home and move on with
use
your
it.
lives. To your claim against her, I find in her favor. And as to her claim against you, I find in your favor. I don't find that she owes you the $240. You already accepted a ring on that behalf. And the defamation of character claim, I think y'all got way too much time on your hands. If you want privacy, don't live your life so publicly on the internet.
Mine is
okay?
private.
Stop, go home. Good luck to everybody.
Thank you.
Well, this case ends with both parties being really just sent out of the courtroom with nothing. Step in here. What's your feeling here on this case now?
I felt like justice wasn't served because the phone basically was not a gift.
Yeah. Were you upset that she dated a man?
Well, I'm a lesbian, so yes.
Okay.
To tell you the truth,
So
yes.
what about feelings still for her? You still have feelings? Do you still love her?
No.
You have any feelings left over her at all?
No, not after all the trouble that she's caused me.
After today, you mean? Not after today?
No, not of the trouble that she's caused me, no.
All right, okay, all right. Right around the corner, the documents are waiting over here. Come on in here. All right, step on in here. You got nothing on your countersuit. Nobody got anything. So who wins?
Me in the long run.
How?
I still have my stuff.
You still have the phone?
The items, yes, I do.
Oh, you got away with the phone. So did you take advantage of her feelings for you?
Not at all. She was aware of it,
Aware of,
what the situation was.
you mean with you dating other people, men and everything?
Yes.
Mhm. Are you glad to be rid of her? Or you
Yes.
still have feelings for her?
No, not at all.
Harvey?
Okay, if you're in a relationship and you give something to your partner, but it's not a gift, and you want to really characterize it as a loan, you got to memorialize it somehow because it's going to be assumed in a relationship, probably, that it's a gift.